Alrighty, well, welcome to this week's Talk or Ask Us Anything. The second time around, the first introduction was interesting to say the least. Apologies for those in YouTube land, you missed it. I guess you just have to be here live to see it. But first, what we'll do firstly is go straight to the news as we customarily do. And the first news item today is that the base Model 3 price has increased by about $1,000. Well, it's $1,000 before on roads. So what that means now is that the drive-away price for the base Model 3 now is $67,681, and that's basically gone up from about $66,616. Needless to say, it is still a very, very compelling value for any EV for that matter. And the last news item we've got today is the Ravensthorpe Fast DC charger is going to go live on Friday. Now, this is the Chuffed campaign that was organised by EVA, the Electric Vehicle Association of Australia, and this photo was taken just a couple of days ago. The charger is going to be installed and live on Friday. So that's awesome news all round for people that want to go between Perth and Esperance. And that is the news. And I'll just very quickly reset. And now we're back to regular programming. So, like I said, that was the news. There are quite a few other news items that were more speculative, and we'll get into some discussion of those, including the Brandenburg Gigafactory getting an imminent approval. And there were a couple of other articles as well that are interesting, like Tesla planning for a second Gigafactory. It seems to be in Shanghai, but there's a little bit, not exactly sure about that. But anyway, we'll discuss that a little bit later. It's, as I said, a bit more speculative.
Lithium deal? A new one?
That was the lithium deal of the Australian company for 100,000 tonnes.
Yes.
Core lithium.
I think it was.
Yeah, Core Lithium in Northern Territory. That definitely counts for news.
Sorry, yes. Okay, so we'll do that straight after introductions. If you're new, if this is your first evening with us, welcome. And if you would like, please say hello and tell us about your awesome car.
I'll jump in, guys. Thank you for welcoming me to the channel.
Welcome, Cameron. Sorry, your first part was a bit broken. I didn't hear that.
Officially an owner because apparently it is. Sorry, it's okay. Thanks for welcoming, guys. I actually bought exactly the Model 3 that you showed a second ago, but it hasn't arrived yet. I pick it up next week, so it's actually going to be more.
Cool. Just hang on. Just hang on 2 seconds, Cameron. Sorry, you're breaking up badly. Just hang on. I'm just going to have to mute you there for a second. Apologies.
You guys today, but I think up next Wednesday. The charger goes in next. Tuesday,
I've actually muted. Sorry, Cameron. I've muted you, but you're still coming through streaming. You must be on a dial-up modem or something, perhaps. So we'll come right back to you. Apologies for that. I just had to cut you off there for a second. We just basically couldn't hear much of what you were saying. But we'll get back as soon as the internet comes back. Actually, yeah, try now. I think it might be better.
Can you hear me now?
Go on. We'll give it another go.
Hello. I'll give it another go. Okay.
No, sorry. No, stop.
I have NBN, so it should be okay.
No, okay. We're going to get back to Cameron shortly, so apologies, everyone, and especially to you, Cameron. When you get back, we'll have a chat to you. Is there anyone else that's new here tonight and has slightly better internet connection than Cameron? No, I'll take there's a no, or you can always say hello a bit later on. Cameron, if you can hear us, we'll get back to you shortly once the internet improves. Okay, so excuse my ignorance, but I wasn't right up to date. I think, Shane, you were talking about that, and I think it was Nigel about the lithium deal.
Yes, I was.
Go, Nigel.
Core Lithium, Australia's Core Lithium, announced 2 days ago that they'd enter into an agreement with Tesla to supply some more lithium, whatever you call it, spodumene or
Yes.
whatever it is, to the tune of 100,000 tonnes or more over 4 years. And they're in near Darwin, Northern Territory.
Cool. So hopefully you can see that now on screen. Yep. Awesome. Sorry. Yeah, I just wasn't quite sure. Yep. So you're right. 4-year deal, 110,000 tonnes. Fantastic. Cool. Thanks for that, Nigel. Is anyone else while we're here? So let me just check if Cameron's come back. No, he's still around the place. Okay. Any other news that anyone else has got before we get into general questions, or maybe a little bit of further discussion on the Brandenburg Gigafactory and other developments?
Did you see the 2022 Model 3 now has 2 reversing lights and larger indicators?
Wow.
Possibly actually being legal.
So Tesla's actually lashed out and put 2 bulbs, two white bulbs in the car. That's good job, Tesla.
Yeah.
I don't want to rub it in.
Say what's happened to the fog light. I'm not sure it's still got a fog light.
I imagine it would have to, so they've probably done like my Model X, which is have 2 of each and lashed out, which is awesome.
Maybe. But certainly larger indicators, so hopefully they'll now meet Australian design rules, and obviously the 2 reversing lights.
Does that mean the brake lights have also increased in size? Because I think they were also the little thin strips, weren't they?
Yes, they have.
Awesome. That's great, Barry. That's fantastic. Good on Tesla for always iterating and listening to their customers. Cameron, hopefully you're looking a lot better. Hopefully we can hear you a bit better. So please, let's try that for the 3rd and lucky time.
Okay, can you hear me this time?
I think so. I think that's better, yes.
Okay, good. Look, I do have NBN, so hopefully it's better. Thank you for inviting me to the channel. I haven't picked up my Tesla yet. It's arrived next week. Well, we pick it up next Wednesday. It is my first EV. I currently have a diesel guzzling V10 SUV. So it's a bit of a change for the family. And I know nothing about EVs or charging or anything like that. So hopefully I can pick up a few tips from you guys. We are having the wall charger installed on Tuesday. I'm just here to learn as much as I can prior to delivery next week.
Fantastic. Well, we can slam through this in almost 10 seconds. And the first thing will be, that's how long your delivery experience will be. You need to learn about PlugShare. You need to learn about the Synergy EV tariff. And there's 10 seconds run out. But all jokes aside, the delivery experience will be quite rapid. The good thing is we can explain everything you need to know about your car here. For instance, there's so many things. Okay, so Google Synergy EV tariff. So what that basically is it gives your entire house.
I've looked it up already. Yeah, so it's definitely
awesome.
The lower rate of peak, isn't it?
Yeah, from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. and there's no other sting in the tail, such as an increased tariff earlier in the day or anything like that. And it's compatible with any of the standard solar tariffs you may have, or general the domestic tariff. So that's definitely a no-brainer. You should look up PlugShare. if you haven't already.
Yep, got it on the wife's phone. Yep.
And then what you should do is with your car initially, you should set the filters. So I'll just go and share this. For this car as it stands, you should set your filters to Tesla Fast, CCS, Tesla, and at the moment, if that's all you have, like when your car is brand new, you set it to those 3 filters, and then you'll see that when you scroll out, there are a multitude of charges once the screen refreshes in and around Perth and in the southwest. So none of these, the orange charges are fast DC, and the green ones are AC charging. Now, if you do lash...
Stupid question. Do I need an adapter for the CCS, or does it come with something like that?
No. So with these 3 filters, CCS, Tesla Fast, which is basically superchargers, and just Tesla Standard, you need no adapters whatsoever. Now, if you are minded to get an adapter, the most useful would be the Type 2. So that is basically a male to female connector cable, and that is used for locations where they call it untethered, where there is no cable built in. So if we just, for instance, look at just sites with Type 2, there's quite a few in Perth, depending on whether you're in the northern or southern suburbs. If you're in the northern suburbs, for instance, you've got Scarborough Beach, Floreat Beach, you've got the Bunnings, Osborne Park Hospital. Oh, Hyundai, sorry. You've got the Home Base or Bunnings Type 2 charger. And if you're down south, you've got Fremantle Cappuccino Strip, which is not there.
No, that's moving to another car park.
Right. Okay. Moving right along to another southern location, you've got the Woolworths at Reynolds Road in Applecross. So you've got quite a few locations. That's just with the Type 2. But we add them all together. You basically got comprehensive charging all over the place. Now, you can, if you're going in more rural areas, use 3-phase 32 amp plug sockets, but that requires a different piece of kit altogether, which if you're a member of TOCWA, and obviously if you're not already, to do that, you just need to go to tocwa.org.au, and that costs a whole $20 a year to join. And as a financial member, you get to use all our adapters, spare tyres, and other things for free for road trips. You can also, for instance, for the Type 2 cable, they're normally $300, but to members they're $265. And you can just get that by emailing, or basically emailing me, which is secretary@tocwa.org.au. And you can also buy a 3-phase adapter. It's a little bit like your wall box you're getting fitted to your house, except this one's a portable version, and that's normally $1,200, and you can buy it off the club for $750. But there's no need to do any of that sort of stuff early on, because if you were going to embark on a road trip, you can just borrow it for free from the club. What else? Yeah, so you've got your electrician sorted for the install of your HPWC from Tesla, so that's cool. If you hadn't, for example, there's no need to necessarily rush to get that done, because you can certainly charge your car very effectively just using the 10 amp outlet or a 10 amp GPO with the adapter that comes free with the car. But it sounds like you're going to have the wall box in before the car anyway, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I've got the wall box in. I've got a pretty decent solar system on the roof, so I'm hoping it all works out quite well.
Awesome. You've got insurance sorted. You've got that already planned out.
Yes, I've got insurance sorted. Look, very very affordable insurance. That's in place, and looking forward to far lower diesel fuel bills, because at the moment, with the price of diesel and a very thirsty SUV, I'm getting a bit tired of plugging the $170 a week on diesel.
Yeah, absolutely. Pete Petrosky has actually done an excellent article a couple of weeks ago, Sorry, Pete, was it the Petroleum Retailers Association, something like that,
It was
of Australia?
It was the Convenience and Petroleum Marketers Association.
That's
So-
it. And they
Oh,
had a ridiculous article that basically posed the question of what sort of price petrol had to get to before you would buy an EV. And I think they suggested it would have to get to, was it $3.75, Pete?
385, yeah.
385.
There was-
385.
Two or three different prices that were quoted, but they were all around that $3.50 mark. But yeah, just ridiculous.
And what Peter's done is completely demolished and debunked that, which is it was basically direct misinformation. They were trying to imply that unless the petrol price was that expensive, it wouldn't be economically viable to have an EV. And in Pete's, and Paul's just showing me something.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his. What's he
Oh, $24. Right, yes. So Paul's spent a whole
31 days.
$24 in a month.
A month.
So
Wow.
Performance car as well.
So
Sorry.
Pete basically worked out, he compared the base Model 3 to a standard $40,000 ICE car. And then he sort of basically said that, well, let's say, for example, that petrol was free. You know, what would happen then if you compared the two cars after 3 years of ownership with total costs included? And he said that you're already thousands of dollars in front. And the only way that a petrol car costing $26,000 less than a Tesla, the only way that could break even with a Model 3 was for them to pay, how much was it, Pete, for taking the petrol?
I think it was about $1.30. Yeah. Oh, $1.16, sorry.
$1.16. So
Yeah.
imagine going to the petrol station, filling your car with 100 litres of petrol, and the petrol station paying you $116. And if they did so week in, week out, the Tesla would still be ahead by $1 after 3 years. So that's the story of petrol prices or fuel prices and Teslas, basically.
good work.
So
Yeah.
So Cameron, you're just going to be miles in front. It doesn't matter if you paid top retail price for electricity. If you went and paid for supercharging every time you filled up and did nothing on solar, did nothing on anything else, you're still miles in front.
Look, I'll pass on some information as well, which might be useful. So I'm in the finance industry, and I know a bit about interest rates and the cost of debt. Anyway, we financed ours, and both Macquarie Bank and CBA offered loans at sub 3% for a new Tesla. So people are looking to go out and borrow money for one. CBA came in at 2.7, which I thought was ridiculous for a new car.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Because personal loans for car loans used to cost well over, double the home loan rate, and now it's just the home loan rate.
Yeah.
So
It's
who
awesome.
did you end up going with, Cameron?
CBA.
CBA. Okay.
Macquarie. So Tesla had a preferred provider of finance, which was Macquarie. They were offering 2.99, which I thought was amazing anyway. It's their green loan. And CBA effectively offered 2.7. So incredible financing rates for these cars.
Absolutely. One thing you'll find that there's possibly a good reason why the financing, particularly on Teslas, is so good, is because with the Tesla app, they know exactly where your car is at all times. So if ever they wanted to repo it, it wouldn't be hard.
That's right. Yeah.
Cool.
I think
Awesome.
the other reason is there's certainly a growing force in the finance community for green bonds. So I think the people that are financing these institutional level have a discount for what's perceived as a green technology. So that's going to grow too.
Yeah, definitely.
Just incidentally, thanks, Pete. The article that I was referring to earlier has a great headline, and it basically says, "I call bullshit. Claims petrol isn't expensive enough for EVs to break even. Don't stack up."
Yeah.
Mm, there you
So
go.
there you go, and that's on the driven. And there you go, 228 cents a litre.
If you just Google call BS the driven, I think it comes up.
And I think you've got your claim.
Yeah, there it was. Just scrolled past it there.
$1. Here we go.
There.
Petrosky concludes that even if petrol were free, the Model 3 owner would be $7,000 ahead. And the ICE owners would not break even until petrol companies were paying them $1.16 a litre to take it away.
Good work.
And to be clear, he's actually got the facts and figures in a tabulated table, so anyone can follow up.
He has got a new report coming out, Harold. Pete's done some research on where to plug in the red light district in Amsterdam for those who need a charge in that area. It's coming out in a couple of weeks. Just got to wait for it. It's called Plug In.
I'm looking forward to that because I'm going to Amsterdam soon. So
yeah, you will be. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that article, Pete.
There's a lot of charging going on.
I've just returned from there. I wrote it all off on tax because I had to do research in Amsterdam. Just came back from a 2-week.
Should be a great story.
Jared. Jared.
Pete, you just, as always, Pete, you go above and beyond. Always.
Doesn't muck around, that guy, I tell you. Certainly no.
Alrighty.
Can I ask Cameron whether he's got Wi-Fi in his garage?
Look, I've got Wi-Fi in my house. I think it will extend to the garage. Why is that?
I'm a bit of a novice, but my Wi-Fi was a bit dull in the garage, but these people sort of gave me ideas on how to make it stronger, because you have to regularly get updates, and whether you want them or not, you get updates, but you've got to have Wi-Fi to get updates.
Okay. Like I'll test the signal strength down there.
It should be fine because the antennas are quite good in the cars, surprisingly so. So just give it a go. I'll bring up the simulator. It's really easy to do. There's a... Sorry, I just got to hang on 2 seconds. It's just loading up. But basically, the car will search for Wi-Fi, local Wi-Fi. You just find your modem, click on it, and put your password in, and you're good to go. It doesn't have to be an overly strong signal. It just has to be a signal, and then your car will automatically get updates from time to time. I'll just bring that up in a sec.
I think you have to tell the machine that you'd like it to stay active when you're driving. Otherwise, it tends to switch off and you've got to switch it back on each time. Is that what other people have found? Or perhaps that was the earlier version before Christmas that was like that.
Anyone got experience with that?
What are you referring
With
to?
what?
When you log into Wi-Fi, you give it the option that it will keep on logging into Wi-Fi.
That's
While you're driving. No, once you go into drive, it disappears.
when
Goes
you
to your LTE.
your Wi-Fi connection at home disconnects as soon as you've driven out. That's connecting through the phone. If you do hotspot through the phone, used to disconnect as soon as you turned off, and you had to reconnect every time you got in. So when you're driving, nowadays you can say stay connected.
Yeah, there was an issue just recently. I think it was the last load of software. I found it disconnected and it kept saying it couldn't connect, and I had to go for a drive of at least, I think it was 25 kilometers or 25 minutes to allow it to reconnect when I got back home, which I thought was incredible. Why on earth would you have to go for a drive for it to reconnect? Well, that's the message I had on the screen. Apparently a couple of other people had the same thing. But I did the 2-thumb reset. It all started working and immediately reconnected to the internet. But it just would not connect for quite a while. I don't know if the next update after that resolved that issue for people, but certainly I had that problem for a couple of days.
I had no problems like that whatsoever.
No.
Harold, it might be a good idea to explain to him how to do a reset because that's not really obvious in the manual.
Yeah, very good point.
Grab the steering wheel nipples and hold it down.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So you've got two thumb wheels and they scroll up and down, and then you can also push them in. So just push the two of them in simultaneously for it's only a few seconds, and then you'll see your screen black out and then it'll reset. You can actually do that while you're driving along in your car. It's perfectly
That's
safe
fun.
to do that. It's just that you'll lose visibility of what speed you're doing, but that's a minor issue. But everything will work, and I think your aircon will reset, so it'll turn off momentarily for a few seconds and then come back. Just getting back, I have managed to wrangle PowerPoint to do the right thing. So basically, what I was referring to, this is a slightly different screen to what you'll see, but it's pretty similar. There's an LTE symbol. You just click on that, and it'll then search for Wi-Fi. And well, in this case, it saw curtain guest when I was taking photos. And then you just tap on that and enter in your password, and that'll learn your car into your house.
So I
That
assume that
LTE isn't on the new version.
Oh,
No, you've got to click on the bottom right-hand picture of a car, and then the screen that loads up has got the Wi-Fi LTE signal on there to click on.
That's right.
So that's the bottom right
all the other
there.
things up the top are missing as well. I think the only thing left is the camera icon.
So I assume that if you want to play streaming music like Spotify, then you just hotspot it to your phone when you're in the car.
so
That comes with the phone.
you can play it through a car.
What sort of car are you getting, Cameron?
Model 3.
Standard or?
Oh, is that the standard?
Standard, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I think you have to pay. You get 1 month free with the standard. I think with Spotify and your Wi-Fi. I believe you get that for 1 month, because performance you get it for 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah, mine was 1 month, and then after that you pay $10 a month.
Yeah, that's it. So there you go.
And that gives you Wi-Fi in the car too.
You get Spotify and Netflix and Wi-Fi in the car.
And your traffic and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, all part of the $10. It's amazing.
And is that done on the account in the Tesla app? That's
it's part of the Tesla account.
Fantastic, thank you.
And when you go to a supercharger, you think, where do I pay? As soon as you plug in, the machine knows that you're there and it just charges you onto your credit card. It's all so very simple. It's delightful.
Love it.
Yeah, be careful with the superchargers as well, Cameron. Don't leave any loose coins in the center console, because they're known to steal the coins out. Those superchargers, they're very, very sneaky little machines. So.
So Karen, I also get my Tesla next Wednesday, the 9th of March at 11:30.
Me too, 11:30.
I'll see you there, mate.
You guys have got 3 minutes,
other.
because there's another group coming in at 11:32. So you've got 2 minutes to pick up your car. They have actually extended the policy, because now they're charging $1,000 more on a car. They've put $600 into the delivery of the car, and split that over the cost, square root that over a few areas, and they've worked out they're going to spend another 12 seconds on each person that comes in. So feel free to, my suggestion would be, any questions you have, ask the group on a Wednesday night before you ring them up like I did and look like a dickhead like I did. Better off asking the group here, because they'll explain it to you a lot easier. And there will be questions. You'll have questions.
Not much has changed, Jared.
No, definitely not.
So speaking of any issues with delivery, one thing you can relax about is you don't have to incessantly inspect your car for any paint faults or anything like that, unless of course you really want to do that there and then, because they basically give you a reasonable period of time to come back with any issues that you found, in the following few days or whatever. So don't feel that, firstly, don't feel rushed that you have to look at everything quickly. You can if you like, and then just when you're in the comfort of home or after you drive home, you can then give it a good thorough look, and then just go onto your Tesla app and just report, a scratch or a paint defect or something like that. and then Tesla will rectify that in the coming weeks, if and when if that's a relevant thing in your car.
Harold, might be worthwhile just putting up. I put into chat that article on Tokwa. That's the one.
I was about, I was waiting for a segue for that, so I had it spooled up. So go to tokwa.org.au, and in fact, at the moment, the top article is, oh no, it's not actually, I think it might be, I'm not entirely certain, is what to expect when you're expecting a Tesla. And it's a comprehensive article that goes through lots of different aspects, various settings that you should go through in your car just to make sure you've got optimum settings. Tells a little bit about Tokwa, the Synergy EV home plan, plug share, various apps you need to use, chargers, cables, adapters, accessories, EV knowledge, the ABCs: always be courteous, always be charging, always bring cables, always browse comments, that's in plug share, and adjust battery consumption if you're doing long trips.
He forgot one. And always bring coffee.
Yeah. Or always bring. Oh, I was going to say the C word, Corona, but I mean the liquid form.
If you're Jared, you bring Coke.
With lime or Coke. Public charging etiquette. Some of the basis around charging your car if you're supercharging. You don't really want to hang around for the very last bit to top up because it takes a lot longer than the first sort of 3/4 of charging. And anyway, you can obviously read all this, and there's an awesome brief treatise on Pete Petrosky there. And
you can cut that out and put that in your wallet. That photo can be cut out and put in your wallet as an emergency photo.
Yes, that's
it's accepted in a few countries around the world at the moment. So if you have any issues,
yeah, if you bring that photo with you and you show it to any nice policeman, he will escort you to the right place.
Thought you'd be going in Amsterdam.
Well, that's only in the red light area.
Yeah, you get freebies.
Plug in.
It's got a special. It's actually got a special code word that only appears when illuminated with red light. So yeah, that'll help you out later on.
It's gone.
But there you go. So just have a look at tokwa.org.au, and I think it's either the very latest article or it's one of the very, very latest articles.
So the
and it's well worth a read.
I've pasted the link
come
in
with
the chat.
tinting, or do they need to be tinted as well?
Sorry, say again, Cameron.
Do the cars come with tinting, like glass tinting on the windows? They need to be tinted as well.
Just the roof.
Yeah, they comes with a.
Oh no,
that's your view, Nigel.
The rear windows have got tinting as well.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
The side windows and so on have all got infrared and ultraviolet tinting on them. There's a lot more on the actual roof panels. So you don't need to consider tinting immediately. The side windows people want to tint, that's for aesthetic purposes. That's fine, but you don't need to tint the roof because it cuts out 99% of everything.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yes, Hamish, I was about to introduce you. I noticed you just came on board. Please say hello and tell us about your car.
G'day guys, sorry I'm late. Mine's actually on the truck up here in a couple of days, I think, to Geraldton. So that's a different delivery. I wasn't expecting that. But look, just I was investigating the tinting, and I spoke to Tintercar up here, and they said they have a directive from Tesla not to tint the roof.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know that one.
It has been an issue with, so in the US, when they first started tinting the roof, the way the tinting works apparently is the film gets put on the underside of the glass, and the glass being, 8 to 10 mil thick, something like that, it can actually trap a lot of the heat, and they've had issues with the glass cracking. But apparently, that's been improved, so that shouldn't happen anymore. But B, so I've had I was aware of that, and I actually had mine done by Tintercar, although it was Perth. And I told them about that, and they knew all about it, and said, "Yeah, won't be an issue with what we're putting on there." So, but you know, it's good to be aware of it. That said, I really don't know whether it's made much, you know, a huge difference. You know, I've got a black car with black seats. My wife's got a white Model 3 with white seats, and she doesn't have that tinted, and that car's a lot cooler than my car. So, yeah, I don't know if it's made a huge difference or not.
Interesting. That's good feedback. Anyway, I just thought it'd be interesting. Yeah. So we've got a long range on order, so we're getting pretty excited. Yeah, thank you guys for all your information. I've been reading that, and you put a lot of effort into it. So thanks. It's good to be a member.
Yeah, no worries, and welcome. And just very, very briefly, I'm just going to go on pause for a second. Yeah, so sorry, Hamish, what were you saying about getting range going up to Gero?
Well, it's going to be on a truck. It should be pretty good.
You're going to get awesome range going up.
Do you have to pay for that, Hamish?
No.
That's a part of the delivery process, is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Well, it's good because I'm pretty busy the next fortnight. So,
is anyone going to induct you or anything, or give you that 3.5?
They said just ring it, ring. So
ring them.
Ring, and they even said if I don't happen to be there, you can leave it in the driveway. Which I'm like, yeah, okay. Not sure about that one, but anyway.
When I got mine delivered, which was a few years ago, they brought it down here to Rockingham on the back of a truck. The guy got it off, put it into my driveway, handed me the keys and disappeared off. And the idea was that I was to check it over and then give them a ring. And you give Tesla a ring, and they then help me set up the phone and what have you, and adjust the mirrors and so on. And then they said, okay, goodbye, click.
There you go.
I had the same thing. I had my car come on a tilt tray just a bit over 2.5 years ago, and it was actually pretty good. I knew within about 5 minutes when the truck was going to come, because they sent me a text telling me what time it left the depot or wherever it was coming from. This is in Perth before we had the service centre here and the delivery centre.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the guy took the car off the truck, handed me the key card, my phone rang, and it was a service lady from Melbourne, and she just said, "Oh, have you got your car yet?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm just about to get into it." And she sort of walked me through everything I needed to know. So
yeah, right. Yeah, could be good. Well, I just relieved, that it's like anything. You just can't check everything anyway, and that whether it's at the delivery centre or at your house for those little details. So it's nice to have come back to them if there's any issues in a few days, I suppose.
You've got about 1,000 kilometres on the clock before they'll start to moan if you say, "Oh, there's a patch of paint that isn't quite right." So you've got a week or two to sort things out.
Oh, yeah, Nigel. I asked Tesla about that, and Hamish, if you're in Geraldton, so what they said was, I said, "Oh, look, is it 1,000 kilometres?" And they sort of said, "Oh, look, it's no real exact amount. There's no hard line. It all depends." And I said, "Okay, well, what does it depend on?" And they said, "Well, look, if you've been driving around the city and you haven't really driven that far, well, then 400, 500, 600 kilometres is should be fine. But if you've gone on a long country trip, be it only 100 or 200 kilometres, and you were behind, and you come back with all stone chips on the paintwork, well, it's probably because you were driving behind a truck, and we'll probably say no." So they do apparently apply a bit of discretion. So it's all, as long as it's reasonable, as long as you can reasonably presume they was on the car before. The best thing to do is as soon as you notice something, take a photo of it and flick through an email to your delivery consultant, your delivery advisor, and that way. And even if you don't necessarily mean to do anything about it, you can just say, look, just flicking you through this photo just to let you know that I've noticed this. Not necessarily looking at doing anything about it, but just wanted to, have it there on the record in case it gets worse down the track or what have you.
To be realistic, have any of you had to make a claim like that? I mean, how often do these things happen?
So I had a really annoying rattle, and Tesla actually bent over backwards for that. So there was twice that they came out, did a mobile service, and once I brought the car in. And on the third time they finally managed to get rid of most of it. But under the warranty, it actually says that if you have minor rattles and things like that, it's not really covered under the warranty. So even though it wasn't covered, like I said, three times they gave it a good crack. And I think the second time they spent like 2.5 hours on it. So yeah, they basically took the whole car apart, put it all back together. The trim, not the whole car.
Yeah,
Cool.
no, they're pretty good.
It's all right, Siri. No, do I?
So did someone else say something? And then they stopped?
Siri.
Oh, cool. It's all right. Be quiet, Siri. Hey, Siri. Just checking.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
So
Siri,
else
what's
got
the temperature?
any other questions?
You got the club's emergency number if you need it.
Oh, actually, thank you, Jared. We do have a helpline, and the number is 6262 3131. So I'll just put that in chat just in case you didn't get that.
Handy number to have, I guess.
6262 3131. Area code's 08, but we're all in WA, so that works everywhere in WA.
Once Pete's report airs, Amsterdam report, there will be a 0055 number coming out for a little bit of advice about Amsterdam, in case you get stuck or.
Well, actually, Tesla's getting a lot of publicity. There's heaps of articles in the West Australian talking about EVs. So they're just going to get more and more common, and hence more and more need.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6262 3131. But please don't ring much after 10:30 because some of us will be in bed. But we'll eventually get proper answering machine tools and things like that. But anyway.
So what do you get on that number? Do you get free towing? Or?
Yeah.
You get a free credit card?
No, that's the
free
case.
little rub down. There's a little massage service we offer after 10:30.
If you're a bit low in charge, you'll get a friendly voice that says, "It's okay, you'll make it. It's all right, you'll make it."
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously, if you got any questions about your car, any little issues you're not sure of, just give that number a call and we'll do our best to help out.
Yeah, awesome.
With a little bit of advice.
We've got a new person that's joined us. Jackie, is it?
Oh, yeah, yes, Jackie. Yes, welcome, Jackie. I saw you before. Please tell us about your car.
Yeah, hi. So I picked up my Model 3 SR Plus last December. I ordered it back in, I think, October, and then got the 2-month delivery wait. So I've had it 2 months going on 3. All good. We're very happy with it. Definitely within the last, I guess, couple of weeks not having to go to a petrol station. Harold, I actually have a question for you, and I wanted to know whether Robin's been in touch with you regarding the custom top quad number plates.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have been discussing that, yes.
Yeah, I was going to put it out there as a random, maybe it's a good time to do it now as a panel to see whether people would be interested in that. And like before I go and follow up with the Department of Transport and things like that as to like how we might be able to progress, or if we get something made up, whether we just do that individually, because at the moment you can go and customize and make your own plates. But I was just trying to figure out if they would allow us a little bit more flexibility in the way that we can set out our, say, the letters and the numbers in terms of the combinations, because at the minute you're only allowed to do three alphanumeric, so alphabet letters, and then 3 numeric numbers at the end. But I think people might want a little bit more flexibility as to what can go on. But there's obviously been the issues with copyright for the logo and all that kind of stuff.
So the plate you're referring to is like a commercial plate where you have a logo in the center between the 3 letters and 3 numbers, and then you have a
on here.
Yes. Yeah, you can share screen. Yeah, anyone can share screens. And then you'll have a description underneath. So you're allowed, it has W8 top, 3 letters first, 3 numbers after, your logo in the center, and then a 1-line sentence underneath. So yeah, Jackie, have you got that on screen share?
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, and it's got TOCWA at the top. Right, yes, so you can see it right there. So they're the business plates. And then you've got the logo. Now, firstly, as a club, we would probably have to seek permission from Tesla if they're amenable to having that logo on a number plate. I don't think they're adverse. I don't think that would be anything adverse. Yeah, and then I don't recall if you're allowed to have a URL on the bottom line. That might not be able to be done. In other words, say tocwa.org.au, where it says Western Australia, but I'm not certain if URLs are permitted.
Yeah, I mean, I could ask.
And I think Rob was saying that some of the numbers were already taken by someone else for some other purpose.
So when I started doing this, I just started from TOC, so 001, and it seems like 001 through to 005 were registered under a couple of different vehicles, and I think they might be interstate as well. So 001 is definitely here in WA. It's registered to a current Land Cruiser somewhere. 2 is in Adelaide somewhere, but that's actually not registered, but it's still being held. So you might be able to start from 2. And then I think I ran out of the number of times you can do license checks on whatever website it was. So I couldn't really search anymore, but I know you can start from 6. So 6 was available, 7 was available, and 8 and so on was available. But I was tempted to go and ask Dot, like, if this is something that we wanted to do, to actually ask if we can create say a full plate, but it'll be like one made up, like one of these, like say the sport one, or they've got a Frangipani one. I don't know where that's gone off their website, but they can create like a custom one for you and then obviously put it on, and then you might be able to then have a little bit more flexibility in like the alphanumeric combination of letters and numbers to go in as well. But like as an example, these ones, if you just go in and do the biz plate, they're currently $6.15 for the sash, so across the top, across the bottom, and then a logo. Alternatively, Pete, if you want to put your picture in there, you can put your picture in there from memory. It costs a little bit more.
God.
Which picture? Is
the one from Amsterdam?
Amsterdam picture. We can't.
That might be considered. That might be considered a traffic hazard. So that could be a distracting traffic hazard.
It comes under the Dangerous Goods Act with that photo.
I wouldn't want to devalue my car anyway.
I'll just get off.
By the way, Jackie.
So Jackie, first thing is, as a committee, we'd have to meet about that and discuss that. And our next committee meeting is due. It's in about a month's time, but that's not to say that we can't actually also, as committee members, discuss it pre and agree or otherwise beforehand. But one little caveat would be we'd have to seek permission, because it's always better to seek permission rather than forgiveness,
Yeah.
especially with something like this. But no, it's actually a great idea. I guess a rhetorical question is what proportion of people do you think would actually be interested in getting a plate? And that's something that's really hard to measure. Although I think actually there's no actual cost to having it set up. It's just a matter of you just establish it, and then if people buy it, they buy it. If they don't, I don't think there's actually an on cost or a major setup cost in doing the biz plates. So there's actually sort of nothing to lose, really.
Yes, and I think we would probably get more traction if, say, for example, they could create that plate with, say, the logo or just the sash to say that it's, you know, Tokwa or anything like that to sort of make it different to the other plates. But then across the middle, we probably don't have to have, like, say, the TOC at the front, and then people can then have a personalized, like, name or anything like that on there. But then the border around itself is got Tokwa on it, or, you know, Western Australia or something like that to differentiate it. And then I think, you know, instead of people just getting a standard number and then having a TOC at the front, people could then actually have their, you know, whatever number plate they wanted to have, but then it's actually just framed nicer, rather than just that plain black or white aluminium plate or metallic plate that I think most people have got. So that was the one thing that I wanted to follow up with Dot. And then, I don't know whether it's worth, like, I was going to create a poll on Facebook, but obviously, you're right. So as part of the rules for creating the plate, you have to agree and say that you've got the rights to be able to use images and logos and all that kind of stuff. So that's why
and we wouldn't
any of that.
Sorry, and we wouldn't want to do a poll and have a lot of enthusiasm for it, and then only to be told that we're not permitted to do that, you know, or it's considered not ideal to do it. So,
but we leave that in your ball anyway.
No, that's cool. I discussed it with Rob actually only a week or two ago. So, like I said, the committee hasn't had a meeting since then. But we definitely will discuss it. And look, another minimalist alternative is actually to come up with number plate covers or surrounds that do a similar thing, which is another alternative, because then people can keep their vanity plates for those that have them. But we have a number plate surround that can have Tokwa on it.
99% of everybody in this meeting, right? I'd assume.
Yeah.
It's the rule.
So that's awesome, Jackie. That's like I said, it's in play, it's in train, and we'll see. We'll see what comes about, what comes from it. And I think it's a good idea to have a bit of a poll just to see interest. Otherwise, it might just be 2 or 3 of us that have it. But that's even cool too. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I'll follow up with Dot just regarding what the consensus is, if we wanted to just have our own personalized numbers and whether they can do that. And then I'll PM you or something, whatever I find.
Cool. And you can just send me an email, secretary@tokwa.org.au, and then I'll process that.
Great work.
Cool. So has anyone got any questions? Or I see that Shane, welcome back from the cold. And you seem to have a crowd of people behind you that are doing weird things to black things.
I've been a busy little Vegemite. I can't remember when I was last even on here.
Been a while.
Nor can we, and not that we missed you or anything, but welcome back anyway.
Did you see my adventures on New Year's Eve? I stuck it on the Facebook thing. I did a whole bunch of towing, which apparently you're not allowed to do.
Right. Actually, we'll just preface that with this is allegedly. You've allegedly done some towing.
Yeah.
You're not admitting to anything per se.
That I may have towed something. Yeah.
Cool.
No, on New Year's Eve I had quite an adventure. I drove from Bremer Bay. This is in the standard range. I drove from Bremer Bay all the way back to Perth, where I hooked a trailer on, an empty trailer on, and I drove all the way to Albany, And then the next morning I got up. I slept in a little bit. I can't imagine why I might have slept in. And then quite late that evening, I towed a firefighting unit all the way back to Perth again. So I was a bit disappointed my EV couldn't do that. But yeah,
very disappointing.
Yeah, I stuck
very disappointed.
Stuck a whole bunch of numbers and stats on the Facebook page at the time. But
yes, yep, I remember that.
Yeah,
that was a good job.
One of the interesting things about it was that I found that with the once you get used to watching the graph, the energy consumption graph, I actually managed to roll into the Williams supercharger with 1% charge deliberately, because I figured, I might as well go as fast as I possibly can and still have charge left. Rolled into Williams with 1% charge, and I rolled into home with 0% charge. So
good job.
It was very interesting, that write-up, Shane.
Yeah, once you get the hang of using that graph, just I think one of the ABCs was what do you call it? Something about adjust your speed or something.
Yeah,
just always.
No, adjust battery consumption.
Adjust battery consumption. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just slow down, and the whole V cubed thing for your energy, your power consumption, it works in your favour really quite well. You don't have to slow down very much, and makes a massive difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're ever planning on towing something with a big frontal area, what I did was I went to Bunnings and spent $50 on a bit of tarp and some gaffer tape, and gave it a bit more of a pyramid shape rather than a brick shape, and it made a huge difference to the battery consumption. Huge difference.
Wow.
So as an example, I don't know if you saw that, Shane, on one of our episodes, or if you've been torturing yourself by watching us on YouTube, whereby you just go YouTube.
I've watched a couple, but I've been a bit busy, so no.
That's cool. You go to youtube.com/Tokwa, but this is a little snippet of another electric vehicle ruining itself, basically towing a 2-ton generator. And in this case, this Model S was being charged by this fast DC charger being towed by this Model X, while this Model X was being charged by this fast DC charger being towed by this truck.
I was a bit disappointed I couldn't make it for that trip. I wanted to go then, but never mind.
So it can certainly be done. And they do act as very good tow vehicles. It's just that, yeah, you do chew through the juice, but as you would any conventional vehicle as well.
Yeah. I had an interesting experience today. I had a day trip out to a mine site about 100 odd k's north of Baladonia, and 100 something k's north of Baladonia, a couple of 100 k's east of Norseman. And hopped off the airplane, and right there in the car park at the mine site was a Model 3 charging off of the power point in the car park. I had to laugh. I thought it was a fantastic thing to see.
Yes, was that at the Nova nickel mine?
It might have been, yes.
It's funny because there's actually a little bit of evidence of that, because there is actually a restricted plug share post, and it might have looked just like that.
It looked a little
that
bit
might have been
more than that, actually, at the time.
Yeah, cool. This is done on the 17th of July 2021, so that's a bit more temporary. So
yeah, she's a bit more permanent there now.
Yeah, so the great thing is at Baladonia, if you went there to try and have a road trip, there's actually now a Delta 20 kilowatt DC charger. So for a Model 3, that means you'll get twice the charging rate. And for this Kona, you actually get 3 times the charging rate, because a Kona can only absorb 32 amp single phase, which is 7.6 kilowatts. Model 3 can do 11 kilowatts, 16 amp three-phase, or you can do 20, well, it's roughly 21 kilowatts through this Delta charger, which is just conveniently undercover at the Balladonia, the back part of the Balladonia Roadhouse. You've also got a little bit further along, you've got Kaiguna, which is an awesome 50 kilowatt fast DC charger. And this was done by John Edwards, who's pictured. And that is a 50 kilowatt charger fed off used vegetable oil, chip oil. And then a little bit further east, you've got the Majura Pass Oasis Motel, and that's got the same setup as Balladonia, whereby you've got the 21 kilowatt Delta charger. So it makes the road trip across the Nullarbor that much more pleasurable.
And what
EV.
what happened on the SA side of the border? Is there an update on what's happening over there?
Well, maybe there've been updates since you might have been on last. I mean, they have got plans to implement charging.
Yep.
I think most of that ends at about
I thought it ended right on the border.
Ceduna. I think it's Ceduna for fast DC, and then currently at Border Village and Nullarbor Roadhouse, and I think Yalata, which is somewhere just over here. Sorry,
right there. Yeah.
Yep, right there. I think at this stage it's going to be AC, but some of those stories are a bit ambiguous because on the one hand they sort of imply it's fast DC, but that might be stage 3, which is sort of later.
Yeah.
But even then, being able to do, look, let's just say you stop overnight at Border Village or Eucla, you can basically go from Eucla to Perth, Eucla to Norseman with DC charging of one sort or another.
Yeah.
Because you've already filled up at Eucla overnight, and then you just go, Majura, Ceduna.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Ceduna, Kaiguna, sorry, Balladonia, and then you're getting in towards Norseman.
Yeah.
So Harold, that photo of the Ravensthorpe charging that you showed earlier tonight, can you bring that back up?
Yep. So if you get a plug share to
the one that
Ravens,
you showed that's just been
yeah. It's on plug share. So this is coming soon, and that's it there. That's the pad.
So you need to take rubber gloves and crimping tools with that one, or to get a good connection?
Look, I just thought if we just lay the box over that, somehow magically it's just going to just all happen.
Okay.
But no, actually,
just drive onto the concrete. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Just mount the concrete, plug it straight in, it'll be okay. We are going to be professionally installing it on Friday. There is actually a local electrician that'll be doing all the terminations, but there'll just be a couple of burly blokes reefing it off the back of a box trailer and sticking it on that pad that's been prepared by the electrician.
Beautiful.
And that site, incidentally, will be at the BP. I think this map hopefully has been, it has. It's accurate. So if we look at the aerial
that's
photo,
actually at the BP server.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Because fortunately, there are actually 2 blocks, which you can see here, and there's actually a spare power supply on the second block, which is near the diesel, high flow diesel, whatever's, and we're going to feed off that. It'll have to be dialed down to roughly 35 kilowatts, unfortunately, because that's the scope of the supply, without having to pay a network augmentation fee to Western Power. And I think that fee is in the order of $400 per additional kilowatt that you've got to pay for them to allegedly augment the service, which is provisionally it's technically a network cost. If in theory lots of people augmented their supplies, somewhere they would have to install another transformer or another generator or something somewhere. So it's just a standard fee.
Is there a fee to use it at all?
Yes, it's going to be, I think it's 50 cents per kilowatt hour. I think it says here, yes, 50 cents per kilowatt hour.
Yep.
And in this case, you just use the ChargeFox app.
ChargeFox, okay.
ChargeFox app
Who's
or
actually
card.
installing that, Harold? Who's coughing up the bickies for that?
Yeah, that was actually a crowd-funded campaign that was led by EVA, the Australian Electric Vehicle Association.
I know the one.
Yep. So that one, I'll bring it up in 2 seconds.
Is it the same
Chuffed
EVA?
Esperance.
EVA, you said, Harold? EVA.
So it's
AEVA.
AEVA.
Yeah, right. It's not EVA from Amsterdam.
No, it's not. It's not EVA.
Oh,
no.
okay. EVA
So
puts
it's
money
the
in as
Perth to Esperance Electric Vehicle Highway, and there are 82 supporters, and they've got $77,350, which is basically enough to do the 2 charges. So that was awesome. Oops.
Excuse me, guys. Is that that's about what you're looking at to put in a decent charger somewhere in the bush? Is it?
Well, no, it's
for that.
yeah. The chargers cost approximately $30,000 plus GST, roughly, but the installation can be the killer. So
A bit
like I
more
said,
now, because they don't make the 50 kilowatt tritiums anymore. You got to go to the 75 kilowatt. And that one
yeah, but
starts 40 or something, doesn't it?
I think so, but there might still be I don't know if the RTs are still around at all, but there are other alternative vendors that'll do a 50 kilowatt, quite reasonably. But let's call it, say, between $30,000 and $40,000, depending. But the real cost is the installation, not so much the actual electrical installation, because that only has to cost a couple of $1,000s. It's the network augmentation. Or because most, well, let's just say you had a house, you had a block of land, and you had a power meter on it. The standard supply is 22 kilowatts, so it's 32 amps, 3-phase. And then for every additional kilowatt you want to purchase or have supplied, you have to pay at least $400 per kilowatt hour, per kilowatt. Sorry. So that's an additional, say, 26 times 400. That's an additional 10 grand. And in fact, it can cost significantly more than that if they have to bore under the road to augment the underground power, or if they have to actually install a transformer because there's not enough power on that reticulation circuit. That can cost dozens of thousands of dollars. In fact, originally on this Chuff campaign, there was a site near the IGA in Ravensthorpe, and the quote to have power run to that site by Western Power, I think, was $104,000. So, that's 3 times the price of the charger itself. But thankfully, the proprietor at the BP has agreed to host it on a separate circuit. And yes, it will be dialed down to 35 kilowatts, but it's certainly better than the alternative, which was nothing. Having said that, of course, in a couple of years, Synergy are doing their WA EV highway, and there will be their own fast DC chargers, basically between Perth and Esperance, Perth and Kununurra, and Perth and Kalgoorlie, including Norseman. But again, that's going to take a couple of years to finish, well, start and finish. So in the meantime, from this Friday, say lunchtime onwards, the Ravensthorpe fast DC charger will be online, which is a great testament to all the donors of the Chuff campaign that put their hard money into this, which has already gotten the Lake Grace charger, which I'll just bring up, and that was installed. God, it's been nearly 2 years ago, I think, or the best part of, and that's at Lake Grace. Right here. That's the charger. And in fact, I've actually got, yeah, that's the charger there. That was part of the Chuffed campaign. So that's the half of the $77,000 went to this charger here, which was actually gifted to the council, and then they paid for the rest of the installation, which was awesome.
Harold, do you know the history of the one at Katanning by any chance? Because that one's also limited to, I think, 35 kilowatts.
Yeah, that's right. That's because it is powered from the old wool factory or whatever it was at the Visitors Information Centre. And because it's a heritage building, they've got limited. It's at the hotel, but that used to be a some processing factory, and they've got limits on how much power goes into the building, so they had to dial it down, unfortunately. So it's dialed down to approximately, I think it says here.
Yeah, I think it was 35.
About 35 kilowatts, yeah. Which is probably hitting up against the 63 amp limit, I think.
Yeah. Interesting bit of trivia on that one. If you're ever charging there, read the plaque on the street light that's next to it. I don't know if you're aware of that.
No, I did go there, but I don't recall reading the plaque. Pray tell.
It's the location of the first electric streetlight installed in WA. Right, literally right next to the charger.
Really? Well, that's cool.
Really?
Hopefully, in 100 years' time, there'll be a plaque next to the pad that tritium was on that says this was the first Southwest, well, wheat belt fast DC charger installed.
Who knows?
Cool. That's a good scoop. That's a very good scoop.
I don't know that I took a photo of it. I probably should have, but I remember seeing it and I went, "Oh, that's actually kind of, quite relevant." Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. I've actually got. So you go on. Go, Paul.
I was scratching my nose, but I did.
Is that a new?
I did want to actually bring up that like the month of March seems to be the month of Tesla gigafactories all coming online.
Yes. Okay. So let's do this. Welcome, Carmen. We'll get to your little story a little bit later on, if that's okay.
Yes.
So yes. So. Oh. Cool. Okay. Cool. No worries.
Carmen, is it the new roofing date this long weekend?
Carmen says,
no, we
Go,
went
Carmen.
to have a look at the car. We've just come back.
So you had a look at the
blue car.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We'll get to that shortly. But Paul, you were talking about this is the month of gigafactories. So
yeah, because I was also talking about like Shanghai as the second factory, all at the same month. So you go. But yeah.
Yes, that's right. So one of the stories is that there are reports that there have been rumors of Tesla building another gigafactory in China, and there was speculation as to which province that would be. I mean, personally, I always thought it would make sense to just stay in Shanghai. I don't know if anyone noticed, and this might not be true at all, but there's a huge pile of sand on the what was the orchard, I guess, or growing fields or whatever next to Giga Shanghai, and I always wondered whether that was going to be a new development expansion, but it might not be. I mean, it could equally be some other factory for someone else. But the great thing is that in Tesla's quarterly earnings results or their reports, they always put Shanghai's production capacity at, I think it's 450,000 cars, I think. But last year I think they produced a run rate of about 800,000 cars just from the factory there, and they've grossly underestimated their production ability. And obviously, I think they said they were going to expand that by 40%. So Tesla said that they weren't really guiding, they said they could do 50% growth this year just using Fremont and Shanghai, the two existing gigafactory or car factories. And that ignores Germany and Texas. And obviously, Paul, like you said, there's a hot rumor now. It's alleged that Tesla's new factory will be in Shanghai. Yeah. And that will have a capacity it'll double Tesla's Chinese capacity. So it'll go to roughly 2 million cars just in China, or just out of China.
It's crazy. Alone. I mean, Shanghai has like 28 million people, so they're right for workers and stuff. So why not?
Well, the thing is, Shanghai has been established as Tesla's export hub. So with the exception of Model X and S, all exported Model 3s to any international market come out of Shanghai currently. Good. Yeah. So all of Fremont's... Yeah, absolutely. Yes, outstanding margins. So yeah, so that's the Shanghai story, and then of course there are the reports. I forget the news agency that had them. I think it was Der Spiegel, or was it Tagesspiegel? Tagesspiegel, and they have stated that they expect Tesla to get full approval, a governmental approval, on Thursday. I presume that's Thursday their time, so let's call it Friday our time. And that's a hot speculation, and that Tesla and the local police have been in planning for a grand opening or an official opening on, I think it was the 23rd or 22nd of March, where Elon Musk himself will attend for the official grand opening.
I think they quoted both dates. I think they said the
yes.
22nd.
Yeah, one was a backup date, I think. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yep. So that's big news, and that's something that I don't think most stock analysts have even thought of, or they just haven't priced that into any part of Tesla's share price at the moment, which incidentally, we all know that it basically touched a low of $700 on the intraday a couple of days ago.
Yeah, and would you believe I bought shares at $700.39?
Oh, get out of here,
Nigel. Oh, Nigel, I hate you already.
Put in an order at market, then it hit at opening time the next day, and it was $700.39, and immediately started to go up and up. I was lucky.
Nigel.
Well, you get the prize. You definitely do get the prize there, Nigel. That's very, very well done. It's very rarely that you pick the bottom, mate, but I think you did.
Yeah.
Hey, Nigel, I've given up trying to pick the bottom because I just end up with a smelly finger. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks for that little mental image there, Pete.
Is that part of the Amsterdam story?
Keep it to Amsterdam.
That continues from the Amsterdam
the
stuff.
Amsterdam stories. It's a teaser. He's putting a teaser out to us about the Amsterdam story.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, the old teaser.
And also on the Gigafactory things, like the Tesla, the Austin factory as well. Looks like that's going to come online as well. So.
Yes, and they are producing quite a few cars. And there was another story. It was a little bit misleading. I think it was from CNBC, I think.
CNBS.
CBS, sorry.
No.
Or CNBS, yes, that's right. Yeah, CNBS.
Yeah. Sorry.
Saying that Tesla's production was basically just one EPA approval away from being approved.
Yeah.
Which is sort of correct. It does require EPA approval, but there was no indication that approval was literally imminent. And it sort of it goes without saying that they can't produce cars until they get the EPA approval. And in fact, the EPA even said that you don't necessarily need it, like Texas doesn't necessarily need approval if the car they're producing is already produced somewhere else. But then there's sort of that slight debate of, well, if it's got 4680 batteries in it, does it constitute a substantial change to a model? And I'd probably argue that it probably does actually, because structurally it is different. But they wouldn't confirm or deny whether that was the case or not. They just referred to their standard rules, which said if it needs to be approved, it must be approved before you can make it, and you can't make it until it's approved. So it wasn't actually news. It was just clickbait and, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Haven't they put the grand opening of Giga Texas to April the 7th?
Yep.
Well, it's not a grand opening. It's actually just a Giga Fest, a Giga barbecue. So a little bit like they had in Germany. Well, it's been a few months ago now, for the locals. So, but what you never know if they have approval. It might morph into a initial delivery event as well. Although there are technical accounting reasons why it might be in Tesla's interest to not actually deliver any cars in March and just wait simply to. Oh, sorry, it will be in April anyway. Sorry, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it won't matter. Because technically, if you deliver cars, I think this is right. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, but I think if you deliver cars in a quarter, you then have to basically start depreciating the plant, and when you do that, your margins go right out of whack because you've delivered, let's say, 10 cars, and you're attributing a whole quarter's worth of amortization on that part of the plant, and it just makes your books look a little bit crap for one quarter, or one entry looks a bit ordinary.
Yeah.
Not that us long-term shareholders could actually care less, because it's literally irrelevant. It's just a meaningless entry on a spreadsheet.
Exactly.
I want to mention about the drive to Lancelin that's happening this Sunday.
Oh yeah, go, Joe.
Carmen, I take it you're going to be the lead car. Alex will be there for sure. Richard Chapman, hopefully you're going to be there. Richard Chapman, come in.
You said the 6th on Sunday?
Yeah, in Australia it's the 6th, yeah. In other parts of the world it might be the 5th or the 7th, depending on where we are, but yeah.
I think I have a family dinner, but
it's during the day, it's early in the morning, so
I will check.
you've got plenty of time. There you go, there is the Lancelin Drive.
And dinner for 14 cooks themselves?
Joe will be packing some sandwiches. Joe, is that right? Joe's going to be packing sandwiches for... she'll do the first 30 cars. After that, and you're on your own.
I'll check.
So it's at Wangaree Park, which is just near the IGA and the bakery.
Nigel will be there, full body, not just his head. Is that right, Nigel? Are you muted, my friend?
No, I won't be going.
Oh, the old Nigel's not going?
No, the young Nigel might, but the old Nigel can't.
Is it too far? They've got Zimmer frame support out that way, I believe. So there's an RAC Zimmer frame technician on site. So
I need to find a body.
Well, if you can get a body, that'd be great. So yeah,
just a floating head.
Hey, Harold.
Just the head.
Yes,
Harold,
Pete.
are you able to put up, how you had the aerial shot of the park? Are you able to put up where that is in relative to the charger, the supercharger location?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, so the actual superchargers are going. I'm not exactly sure whether it's to the left or to the right, because basically Synergy, let's just say Synergy's going here and Tesla's going here.
Right.
So in fact, just talk amongst yourselves for a moment, and I'll bring up. There's a Shire of Jinjin council meeting where it actually shows the location, and I'm just going to try and bring it up in 2 seconds.
Nothing's happened there yet, has there? There hasn't been any works or any ground broken or anything like that yet.
We could take a pickaxe on Sunday and just do like a little, break the ground ourselves so it's ready to go for them. We could do something.
Hire
Like
a jackhammer.
I could bring my jackhammer. Do you want me to bring a jackhammer?
Yeah, and I've got a generator, so we could bring that.
Here's the image here. So Tesla on the left, and Synergy are to the right. Well, in this image, to the east, and Tesla is to the west.
How many charging stations?
So Tesla's got a 3-stall V3 250 kilowatt setup, same as Margaret River, same as Williams, or same as half the size of Karrinyup. And Synergy will have a dual-headed 150 kilowatt fast DC charger and a AC backup charger next to it. So they're taking up 5 bays, but there's going to be effectively 4 usable bays. And in Tesla, it's going to be 3 bays, 3 stalls.
Synergy charging for their chargers, or they?
Oh yes, there'll be a cost. They haven't said what that cost is.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if I was Synergy, I'd probably try and slot in just a little bit below Tesla, so that they can triage. You can say, well, I don't mind being charged at it's not actually a pedestrian 150 kilowatts. It's actually pretty fast, but you might use that price signal to divert charging to Synergy, or if you want to charge super duper quickly, you just jump on the Tesla charger, the supercharger, and use that instead. So because if the price was the same, then I guess you just always use Tesla because it'll be always quicker and slightly more convenient, as was mentioned earlier. I think it was David had mentioned that the great thing about the Tesla supercharger is you simply plug and forget. That's it. You just plug it in. You've already got your credit card connected to your Tesla account. You don't need to use an app or anything like that, RFID card. Whereas for the Synergy system, as specified in their tender specification, you'll be able to pay with either an app, a RFID card, or tap and go. So with a contactless credit card.
Good old tap and
So
go.
that's according to their Synergy's tender specification.
Oh, that's good. Good. Old Nigel will be able to use it then. Nigel?
What's tap and go?
Yeah, no, we'll explain that later, Nigel.
Okay, thank you.
Is that when someone goes, you got to go, like you get tapped on the head and
That's what my wife does.
No, they've got that at the nursing home. They've got the same thing at the nursing home. You just got to explain it.
So that's the park there. So we'll actually be literally at this gazebo,
Carmen, you'll
right
be
where
there, Carmen?
the chargers will be.
Carmen, you'll be there on Sunday?
I have to check timings and organise myself.
We want you to be a part of the breaking of the ground, so we'll just get a shovel and just scoop a bit of sand out the way.
I can do that.
Yeah.
So we'll bring some silver shovels, and while we're digging holes, we can just pretend we're looking for truffles or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why we're smashing up their car park. Yeah, because we're just looking at truffles. We're from the truffle collectors.
That's the extraordinarily rare Lancelin truffle.
Yeah.
That's
extremely rare.
Very rare. Absolutely one in a trillion.
Covered in sand. Just what you want.
I think I get it.
And Joe, will you be coming? Joe, are you going to be there this weekend? You going away with the kids, are you?
Oh, no. We have commitments every Sunday morning.
Okay.
So no, but we did the drive last time, the Lancelin drive. So we have done that with kids.
Maybe
back in a day.
And just a quick heads up, it is on, I presume Facebook has been updated, and I've sent the email out to all our other members. Please, if you are coming, do register on Try Booking. It's obviously completely free. It's just so that we can keep a control of numbers, because there is a strict 50-person limit for a private outdoor event.
Oh, yes.
So it's essential that you book, because we can't afford to have even 51 people there in one place. It's just it's against the law, and we just can't allow that to happen.
And Harold, it looked like you had, it looked like there were actually 2 gazebos there. Were there 2 gazebos there?
Yeah, there's 2.
Yeah. So look, at the moment we're not at capacity. If we seem to zoom past capacity, and I have actually turned a waiting list on, so if you go to book and it's booked out, you can add your name to a waiting list, and then without making any commitments beforehand, we'll assess if that waiting list comes into play, and then we may have a contingency of having a separable event, at the other side of the park or something like that. But it has to be legitimately separate. We can't be seen as trying to beat the system or anything like that. Then after at about 12 o'clock, anyone is welcome to adjourn at the end of the event. So that's the event proper. And then as sort of individual people or whatever, several of us are going to adjourn to the what was it again? Sorry, Jared.
It's the
was there
it's
something
the establishment with the
The Lancelin Beach Hotel.
Lancelin Beach Hotel. Thank you. Yes, that's it. Thanks,
some board
Jackie.
games, and we'll be doing some. I think we'll be doing some Twister as well. So Paul's running the Twister competition. So there'll be interesting stuff like that going on. So yeah, you up for that, Paul?
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
The Twister, yeah, good. So Alex, where are you? You're going to be there on Sunday, aren't you? You're single now. Nightclubs are closed, so you got nothing to say. I went out Saturday night anymore. So your Mandurah nightclub will be shut. So the 3 single girls that go there every night will just be probably there at 7:30. You better take them, out quicker because it'll be all closed. And yeah, it'll be a great night out. And then next day you can come to the Lancelin.
I've got theatre group on that day.
Oh, theatre groups. What's theatre group? That's nothing.
Couldn't you just zoom that in, Alex? You just zoom it in on your phone. It'll be all right.
Just a rerun copy of some of those dance shows, isn't it? Think you can dance, or is that the same one? Or
yeah, thanks. Something so you think you can dance?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same as the Nigel. Will you be there? Younger Nigel. Sorry, Nigel under 50. Will you be there?
Yeah, but I've got to find a body first.
If you can find the rest of your body, you reckon there's a chance that you're going to roll up, not just your head.
Might be.
Okay. Pete, are you going to be there? Are you going to be attending on Sunday?
Mate, I don't know. Kids have got sport at 10 o'clock, so
we're going to do a press for your your red light trip.
We'll need to get a cardboard cutout a full-size cardboard cutout of Pete.
Great idea. And you could push like a badge and it will tell you how to charge in the dark in Amsterdam. How to charge in the dark, people will tell you how to put the charging port in.
I'm going to have to go to that. I'm going to have to actually go to Amsterdam.
Oh, I've been to Amsterdam. It's a very interesting. Really? I have been there a couple of times. Yeah, it's a very interesting place. There's a lot of interesting people. Culture is very interesting. They seem to love the colour red. Red seems to be a very strong colour.
I heard they like their cookies too.
Yeah, the cookies are very popular, but there's a lot of red going on. It's pretty out there.
All right. Well, I think we need to turn blue now, or we probably already are going a bit blue. And speaking of which, this is a blue car.
Ooh.
That's for sale on car sales.
Oh, cool.
So
that's cheap. 105,000.
Oh, well, plus charges, plus government charges. So, so Carmen, do you want to speak to this?
Yes. So Simon, being the executive son, wanted his favourite mummy's opinion, and we've just been to have a look at it in Wanneroo.
Oh, Carmen, I went to have a look at that last week.
Oh.
At Wanneroo, I did their solar panels at Wanneroo
Mazda?
Mazda, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So we've just been. And they wouldn't let us test drive it.
Yeah, because they had it parked right down the back inside the showroom.
No, that wasn't the reason we were given. We were told that you have to be ready to buy it because they don't want to put the kilometers up, and that there's a few people that just go for the test and they're not really interested. They're not real buyers.
Yeah.
And they did that. It was so dirty inside the bonnet and all the outside. And I said to the guy, "Are you serious about selling this? Do you think you could present it a little bit better?"
Mm.
We had a look at it anyway. And Simon, I'm going to Simon's in a minute. He's had to make a call overseas, and I'll get him to join us. But he would like to know what sort of price could it be. Is there anything that is different to the new models? Is it a good model to buy? And
how many
okay, so we'll park that because it'll be good if he can join us.
Yes.
But if it comes to be that he can't join us, then that's cool because you can ask the questions and we can just answer them, and he can watch this part of the video, and I can send you, Carmen, a time-stamped link for this part, and then we can discuss it and bag it and whatever and suggest alternatives.
Okay. I'm going to, he lives the street away.
How many?
So
I'm
going
cool.
to take my iPad there shortly. And when he's finished, and we'll have a chat about it. He liked it. He thought it was probably older styling to mine, which he drove there. Yep. But he didn't mind the feel of it and the console. It has a few little marks on it. I think, Pete, you may have noticed.
How many kilometres?
It's got one on the steering wheel, and on the centre console, near the cup holders, it's got a couple of scratches. But the one on the centre console, I think, you may be able to get that out.
How many kilometres has it got on it, Carmen?
29.
Oh, is that off?
Yeah.
29,000, yeah.
Yeah. 29. I took a picture of the dashboard.
Sorry, did you say it's got 29,000 on it?
Yeah.
29,680.
Just been to the shops and back.
I've nearly got that many on my car.
I've got twice that much on mine.
Well, it's 2016.
Harold's got 10 times that much on his.
Well, Shane, you got yours at the same time as mine, didn't you?
Oh, ish. Yeah, not even a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, July, I think it was.
I'm like 25 or 26 or something already.
Yeah,
Hey, Carmen, I think they've dropped the price. So just check again, but I think they dropped the price by another 10 grand. So I think it's about 95 or something now as well.
Okay, tonight he told us that's the price, but I did say to him, what about cleaning it up, getting rid of the marks? There's 2 marks on the bonnet, and also wrapping it. And he said, oh, maybe not wrapping, but maybe ceramic finish, whatever that is.
Yeah, it's just a
so let's just park this just so that when Simon comes, we don't sort of like repeat the same stuff.
Yeah.
But if he can't make it, that's totally cool too, because like I said, we can then just do a recorded version.
I'm going to go now. He said it'd be finished at 9:30. So I'll go over and grab him online so that he can hear you direct.
Yeah, cool. No, that'd be great. And we can give him some sage advice on that.
So he needs a car now because he sold his before he went overseas, and he's just come back, so he hasn't got one. I did suggest that he may want to go to. Can he have a test drive of a new S at Main Street? They haven't got one.
No. Let's just park it because it'd be much better than we'll park it until he's available, and then we'll go through all the scenarios. And I can already think in my mind of a couple of interesting scenarios that might be good for Simon. So sometimes you don't always get what you want, but you find some time that you get what you need, and we might be able to just get him over that hump for a little while, just long enough, and then he can get what he really wants. So we'll just park it until Of course, yep, and that's exactly what I'm going to get him into. I'm going to slide him into a brand new Model S with the brand, all the features and all that sort of stuff, and we'll work out how to do that.
Okay, cool.
Now,
I'll see you shortly.
cool. I'm going to slide back out of blue and into red because I know that's Jared's favourite colour, and
Favourite colour.
this
Orange. Burnt orange.
Well, burnt orange. Well, this is a bit of a it's borderline burnt orange, to be honest. I didn't want to sort of poke Damon already so early in the program. This is probably his third or fourth half hour that he's watching us on YouTube. But this is the red cat bus in Joondalup. And this is a Volvo electric bus that has 440 k's of range.
Yeah.
And that's the outside photo. You can see that it's got a flat bottom and it is Volvo. And the interior is basically standard commuter bus, pretty much.
Very standard.
And yeah, so that's very, very standard. And the driver loves it. And it's got great performance. And at 440 k's of range,
Say about time. Why did it take so long?
Because the wheels of the bus go round and round slowly.
Do you still get stabbed on that bus, Harold, or is it different? You can still get stabbed on it, can't you?
Yeah, I think the colour red's better. Notice how they've got the multicolour seats so that the blood splatters don't show up as well.
They're so smart, those guys.
They are. They're very smart. Very,
got
very
that
smart.
from the petrol stations.
There
you go.
So it's unfortunately a trial, which is kind of a little bit ridiculous because I think we know how electric buses work these days. They're cheaper to run, they're superior, they're cleaner.
Just send Rita Saviotti to Shenzhen in China, where they changed out 16,000 buses over a few months, and they're running pure electric.
They've got about
it's still only a trial, obviously.
They've got about 500,000 of them in 500,000 of them in operation in China. 500,000.
Aren't some of the buses in America battery powered? School buses?
Not that many. They'll get there. They will get there, but we're still buying diesel buses. It's going to drive them nuts.
Oh yeah, but we're Western Australia. Things are different here.
Yeah, we've got to keep someone running.
We like to stay out of the crowd, stay out with the technology. That's why we haven't got COVID properly yet. Sydney's already had it and done it, but we take a bit of
while. We wait a while.
We wait a while. That's all it is. It's just it's like living in Mandurah. It's the same as living in Mandurah. You put it down to that, couldn't you? Alex?
You and Mandurah. You and Mandurah.
I love the old Mandurah. I love the old Mandurah. Tell you.
Mandurah's a great place.
It is. Some great people live in Mandurah.
Where's Richard Chapman? Is he around or what? Richard Chapman. God, where is he?
I haven't seen him.
No, he was lurking.
No, he's been around.
Has he?
He's been around. He's got a Model S. He can tell you about how good it is.
Yeah, but we're not doing that yet. We're waiting till Carmen and Simon come on.
Got excited.
Otherwise, yes, Nigel.
I've just been doing some research on the Model Y.
Okay.
If you'd like to hear it.
Yes,
is it finally on?
Please.
Been looking all the time.
No, it's not available yet.
I've been looking every day, like 3 times.
You're a sod, Nigel. I thought you were about to say that you've just ordered one and here's your confirmation page.
Actually, it's the Model Y in Australia has 3 different models approved.
Yes.
In the Registry of Vehicles thingy, road vehicle registry.
Yep.
There's a standard range, which has got a 255 kilowatt motor, a long range with 378 kilowatts, and a performance of 393 kilowatts.
That's correct. Yep.
And that's slightly more kilowatts than the Model 3 rear-wheel drive long range and performance, which are 239, 366, and 377.
There you go.
That's dead right. Which is very...
Looking at pricing, because of course we've got no idea. But if you compare the prices in America, China, UK, and Hong Kong, I think two of those have got the rear-wheel drive only model, and working that out at the price differences compared to a Model 3, we're probably looking at if we ever get the rear-wheel drive, about 78,000 for the rear-wheel drive, 92 for the long range, and 105, 106 for the performance, based on price differences in several countries.
So you're adding roughly 10% of the Model 3 equivalent price?
Well, no, because some places were, 7,000 to 10,000 difference. Some were a little bit less.
And it differs, Nigel, on the model as well. So
So I worked it out for each model, comparing 4 or 5 different countries' prices.
It tends to range between about 5 and 15%. But as Harold said, roughly about 10% on average.
10%. And for those that aren't aware, Model Y, they don't have the standard range in Germany or the UK, but they do have it in Hong Kong. And as Nigel said, they're implying that they will have it in Australia, which is really interesting. Singapore doesn't have any Model Ys. But so some countries, some areas only have 2 models, the long range and the performance.
Hong Kong has got the rear-wheel drive, which is the equivalent of 78,500 Australian, and the Model Y rear-wheel drive is 91,500. So that is $13,000 difference.
So that's about 15% or something, or a bit more.
18, 19%.
18%, yeah.
So, it's still hard to predict, but...
there is a 4th model they're bringing out, which is going to be, I think it's going to be sort of like around the $90,000 mark. It's going to sit just underneath the performance. It's going to be called the Pensioner, and it's known as the Zimmer frame model. It's going to be high speed in and out of the car, and excellent parking in nursing home.
Oh, Carmen's there.
Hi.
So you just wait for that model.
Well, yes, indeed.
But the other interesting thing was, with the Model 3, there were 4 or 5 models approved, and one of them's only got a 209 kilowatt motor in it, as opposed to 239. I got no idea what that was.
Speeding fine?
Was this Nigel on the Rover?
But you have to go into the RVCS or whatever it is.
Sorry, yes, because it's all split up now. It's all been fragmented.
I don't know what the 209 kilowatt version was.
Well, anyway,
Maybe the long range.
Carmen's son's here now.
That's cool. That's cool. Welcome, Simon. Welcome back, Carmen. Let me just set up here. So the car we were looking at was.
You want to be careful here, Harold. We might get ourselves into a bidding war over this car.
Yeah.
That's all right. I know someone that's got a blue Model S that wants to unload one. And has he got a deal for you? Okay, so let's have a look at, sorry, I just got to grab this car. Here it is. All right, so it's this car here.
Yeah, that's it.
So, okay, so one thing I haven't, let's just have a quick look at the photos. Ooh, I think, okay. My first answer to you is don't buy this car. So the reason is, on this pillar here, there is not a little circle here, which means there are no side cameras. And just in case that was wrong, you look in the front. This is a unicorn car. This is a facelift because it's got the modern version of the front, the bumper, but it has autopilot version 1, the single camera, and no cameras. And no cameras on the side. So I can already tell you right here, right now, do not buy this car. because it can never do enhanced autopilot. It can never do full self-driving. Yes, it does do autopilot, and it does it okay, but it's basically 2 generations ago as far as driving is concerned. Now, obviously, Carmen has said that, you're obviously looking for a car really soon because, you need one to use. Now, Pete, I think what you did, which ended up being for a very short time, but could have been for longer, it's just that circumstances meant it was shorter, could be a great alternative. Because I know, Simon, you want to look at the awesome new Model S, which is literally amazing. So just in case you haven't had a good look at that, that is this car right here. And this Model S has got the yoke steering wheel, and it's got a 17-inch landscape touchscreen, so that when you're watching Netflix, it covers the entire screen. You'll see that the
and just quickly, that's 2 inches bigger than Carmen's screen. So
yes, diagonal. Yes, that's
and
right.
2 inches is a lot. I mean,
it is. It is.
Short, you need that extra couple
in
inches.
Amsterdam.
And it's got the similar aircon ducts as Carmen's cars, the Model 3, which means you've then got the options of actually moving the vanes, the airflow in any direction you want to do. The entertainment, you've actually got a second rear screen at the back. I think it shows it somewhere. There are some additional. Anyway, you've actually got a smaller screen in the back of the center console in the armrest. It doesn't actually show it. Oh, hang on, it might be here.
That animation.
Oh, there it goes. That animation there. So you'll see that's the screen there, and there it is there. Yeah. So right there, you got the second screen. This is an absolute amazing car, and the pricing, I think it was in the realm of about 150,000 it was starting at, roughly, I think, for an absolute amazing car. At the moment, if you go on Tesla's website and you do the Australian version of the website, they no longer show pricing because they sort of suspended that a few months ago. But that's the car you really want. Now, the question is, what do you do between now and, say, the middle of next year? And, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to buy a new, like, say, a Model 3 or something to get you by. But Pete might have a solution that could be useful. So shoot, Pete.
So what we did is we thought we had to wait 3 to 4 months before we got my wife's Model 3. We were just, the way it turned out, the gentleman who was supposed to take delivery, he didn't have his finance organised, so it fell through and we were able to get the car earlier. So we only rented the car for a month, but we were going to have it for 3 or 4 months. But if you commit to a rental of at least a month at a time, it comes out to about $400 a week, which I thought was very reasonable for a Model 3.
All right, and you rented one from the Tesla dealer?
From Carmo, so Karmo.
Okay.
And if you like, I can text Carmen. I think I've got your number, haven't I?
Yeah, you have, but I can text it anyway. But the other thing is that
I'll text it. I'll text you the guy's number if you want.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that if my plans continue, they're going, I will be going overseas between June and October, and I can leave my car with Simon.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Is he responsible enough, Carmen? Or
it saves.
Is he your favourite, or you wasn't sure?
It saves me charging it and leaving it secure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the thing is, Simon, it's firstly, yeah, if you got that blue car, it look on the outside it looks just like all the S's look. I could even dredge up a few other things. You have to probably pay about 3K or 2.5K for a couple of things that need to be done on the car that aren't warranty issues, and that's to do with the touchscreen. It's got an old touchscreen that is laggy and slow to respond, and if the car gets too hot, you get like they call it a bathtub ring that's like a yellowish, looks like a bathtub ring around the display, and Tesla do change them out for the newer version, but that costs about I think it might be $2,400 roughly. And to charge it at some of the superchargers, you need to get what's called the CCS upgrade, and that's $380. So there's a few extra on costs, but the main sting in that tail is the fact that it's got autopilot version 1, which can never go any further than what it can do now. Whereas if you had gotten, say, a car that was 6 months younger, it would have autopilot 2. And if you wanted to hold on to the car, you could actually upgrade it eventually to full self-driving with a computer upgrade that you wouldn't have to pay for once you've done the initial changeover fee. So, yeah, the car's great, apart from the fact that it was presented poorly. Look, it still is a fantastic car. That car back in 2016 would have cost drive away about $140,000. So they're asking a fair bit, and I think the 104 that number quoted, that didn't include stamp duty and transfer fees. So I'm not sure what they would come.
I think they've
to.
reduced the price by about $10,000 now too on the car.
Yeah, I think it's 100.
Had about 95 from memory.
No, the ad. I just checked the ad then, and it said
Not in the ad, not in the ad, but I got the impression it could be reduced.
Yeah. So look, I mean, look, if you bought it, it wouldn't. It's still an awesome car. By all means, if you really want to buy it, do buy it. But the car you really want is the new Model S. I mean, that's the one you really want to bleed for, because that's just an amazing, awesome car. I mean, the specs, off the top of my head, I think 0 to 100 on that is 3 point, not very many seconds on the slowest version you can buy, the standard long-range Model S. The entertainment, the interior is just astonishing. And but you're going to have to wait probably 12 months, 18 months. Well, 12 months at the earliest, 18 months, probably more like it. But if you could handle having a smaller Tesla, like currently it's a Model 3, but if you could you don't have to buy it. You could just rent it. You could just rent a month by month, $400 a week if you run the figures on that compared to your loan payments or even just the cost of money. That's not a terrible cost. And it gives you the flexibility of flicking it with only a month's notice. So you could then, when the Model Y comes out, you could have a good look at that, and you might consider that to be an in-between car that's nicer to ride. It's got a taller ride, more storage space, before you get the ultimate car, which is the Model S. Or keep looking to see if there's an S that's got AP2, so it's like a 2017 Model S as an in-between car.
Or
yeah,
it
20.
Could just hang out and wait for the Cybertruck.
No, he would like
2 weeks.
Be like,
I'm not.
Speaking of which, I'm still waiting.
Oh, it's going to be ages.
Okay, well, that's helpful advice.
But
yeah,
like a performance Model 3, like bought, but then you just get a loan through Tesla at the current rate. that's actually less than $400 a week. It's less than $300 a week. So you could do that and then flip the car. At the moment, they're actually selling them more than what they're actually costing as well.
Maybe
so,
I could take over the performance model and sell mine.
yeah, and then you could sell it to him for what you pay for the performance.
Carmen, I don't know if it helps, but I was in the same boat October last year. So I really wanted the S, went into the work showroom and then, had the spiel from the showman and everything. And then I was obviously told it was going to be at least a 12 to 18 month wait. And I didn't want to wait that long. So what I did was pretty much buy the 3, get the 3 now, hold on to it until the S becomes available. And by available, I mean readily available to order, where you'd only have to wait like, the 8 weeks or whatever for delivery. And then basically I was going to then flick my 3 and then upgrade to the S. And so for the, I guess, like the pricing wise, like what Harold was mentioning before, what I've been doing is, because I've got VPN at home, I basically turn on my servers to go to USA, pretend I'm over there to buy the car, and it comes up with all the prices on the Tesla website over there. So the Model S standard range, which is the one that Harold, you mentioned, goes from 0 to 100 in 3.1 seconds. They're retailing on their website as, so US dollars, 88,740. So if you do a quick calculation and divide that by, 0.75, I think it comes out to, what is it? I'll just quickly do it now.
Normally the price is times 1.81, I've worked out.
Okay, so I can do that.
As opposed
so it's
to
88,740. Actually, it's 99,000 in the US, but I mean that's with tax. So you could try and actually work back. You can do this in Excel if you factor in the luxury car tax and you compare.
I reckon it'll probably come out to something like that on road over here. But then
120 currency conversion, but you'd have to add the luxury car tax.
That's right. But then their played version, which is the one that goes from 0 to 100 in like 2 seconds or something, they're retailing over there for almost 124. So that worked out to be at least probably 180, I'd say, easily when it comes over here. That's it. So I guess I don't know if that helps, because I was thinking that by the time we get it over here, I don't think we would lose a lot in the resale of the 3s at the current market anyway. So if you need something, that's kind of what I did, and I'm kind of happy with the 3. I don't even know if I'll probably get the S and then waiting. I just don't think I could wait that long. And then same with everyone's waiting for Ys, and I actually really want a Cybertruck, but I don't know if I want to wait like 3 years for that. Not that anyone's got any news.
Jack, I ordered it. I was a bit slow. I ordered it on day 2, the Cybertruck, and that was on the 17th of November, 2019. That's pre-COVID. That's a long. That's like a long time ago.
Updates?
Yeah, the update is you got to wait because actually there was footage, and in fact that's a great segue to.
So Simon, are you a single guy? Are you married or?
Married and kids.
Because if you get that new S, you'll definitely be a single guy. Like driving around that car, you'll be happy. Trust me.
What are you talking about, Joe?
His wife has a Volvo 7-seater.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the family machine. That one.
She's got the family car.
That's definitely the family car.
Is that like a disclaimer they should put on cars, Jared?
Sorry?
It's like the disclaimer they got to put on with the ad, is it?
It is. I think it is exactly the same one.
So this is the Cybertruck in a video by a gentleman or a channel by the name of Met God in Wilderness and some Chinese characters. So that's the Cybertruck, and you can actually see it's got a filthy vault cover.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the tonneau. Yeah, it's quite filthy. It's got a lot of dust. If we just run this video,
you don't want the music, though.
Don't want the music. So you can sort of compare the size. Whoops. Go back a couple of frames. Sorry about that.
It's all right, buddy.
He has a car park at South 32 and it's not that big.
No, the Cybertruck would not fit in South 32.
And he has a charger there as well.
The Cybertruck's about 5.85 metres long. It's about a metre longer than the Model 3.
It was standard ute size, really.
In America, yes.
Yeah, just shy of a Dodge Ram.
Small car in America.
Acceptable over there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
So Jackie, yeah, the Cybertruck. The news is that Tesla have announced they're not going to commence production until the end of this year. Unfortunately,
and that's only in Texas, isn't it? It's not at any of the other gigafactories as
No.
well, is it?
No, and they've got how many? Is it 1 million reservations now? Or is it 1.3
million.
1.3 million reservations?
Yeah.
But
just doing the very long queue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, we're not going to see the Cybertruck until 2024 at the earliest. Probably late 2024, maybe late 2025. Sadly.
Yeah. We're normally 3 years after, after the Americans produce, then we get our cars.
Yeah, a solid 2. Usually a solid 2, but it depends.
Like
the
3 was. Sorry. Yep. Go.
Well, I ordered the Model X, the refresh. Well, it wasn't a refresh Model X at the time, but I knew it would be in January last year, and I'm not going to see that until sometime, hopefully early next year, and that's 2 solid years. And the same for a Model S. Model S you could order last year, and it won't be here until early next year. But Simon, in your case, you can't even order a Model S now. You can only reserve one. So if you go to Tesla's website, you can only reserve it, and there's no price.
That's right.
So
wasn't there a plaid you could reserve a plaid? Or $7,000.
You can reserve.
$7,000.
Yeah, you can reserve it, but there's no price. They no longer. Tesla took the price off the Model S and X a couple of months ago, well, some months ago, and basically indicated that we really don't know when we're going to be able to get you a car and how much it'll be. So they've taken the price off. They've taken any indication of when it would be delivered off, and they've just said reserve it. So you'll be if you wanted a new Model S, you're in the wilderness for the time being, but there are alternatives. And as Jackie said, you could do worse than getting, say, a Model 3. Look, either buying it. Having said that, buying it, you've got to be lucky to get one because the delivery timeframes is 5 to 7 months, which is basically code. Go, Pete.
Sorry to interrupt. So the gentleman that I was having a look at your blue Model S at Wanneroo, so I was having a look for him last week. He ended up ordering a Model 3 instead of that blue Model S. And he went into the dealership and he said, look, I'm thinking about getting this Model S. I can't be waiting for 6 to 8 months. Have you got anything? And he basically said, look, ideally, I'd want a white standard range, but I don't want to be waiting the 5 or 7 months. So if there's anything that you have, I'll take it. And it just happens to be that they had a red. He said, I'll accept any color other than red. And they said to him, well, actually, we have a red long range Model 3. So he ended up taking delivery of that. He's a certain owner of a few destination charters that he's had for a few years. You might know who I'm talking about, Harold, but
very much so.
Yeah.
So does that mean that from time to time with the new deliveries of the 3, if he told Harry he wanted a new one and someone didn't go ahead with the purchase, it would probably be available?
So I think what happened was, I think what happened is, so for every model and every trim and, every option, such as white seats or what have you, they've got a line there's people lined up for it. So if someone doesn't have their ducks in order, they don't have their finance ready, what have you, the next person comes in. It just happened that the red long range, there was no one else in line for that trim. So I think that's why he got it. Now he still hasn't got it. It's still not available, but he'll get it in about a week or two. So
yep, and I'll just so if you really want one and you really want to buy one, you've got to be flexible. But they do come up because sadly, finance deals fall through or circumstances change or whatever, and Tesla are not interested in having any cars in stock at all, particularly when it gets towards the end of a quarter. So cars, there are cars that are in Tesla's holding pen now that will not get delivered to the original orderer because something will go wrong with the order process.
And it's actually prime time for that now because there's 300 that wait for another 2 or 3 months at least, if not more.
I don't think there's any waiting period with the new Nissan Leaf, though, is it? I think that's available now. I mean, if you're thinking about getting something just to do shopping and stuff and running around the area, the Nissan Leaf, you can't go past that car. That's a total winner.
I was going to say I could do a deal on a Mitsubishi i-Move if you want. What Leonie doesn't know doesn't have the smallest electric.
That's a shocker. But yeah, so Simon, it's not fantastic, but I think you'd be a lot happier. Put it this way: my wife owns a 2017 Model S. It happens to be red. Looks exactly the same as that blue car, except it has AP2. And I can tell you now that even if that was available, and actually it will be available once the Model Y comes out, just quietly, but hand on heart, I would still recommend a Model 3, even though it's not as big as the Model S, but it's a much newer car, and you're more likely to keep that. Like take this for an example. You might have that as your car now, but then you might keep that in the family as your second car when you get the S. So then you have a 2 EV car, family, because what you'll realise straight away.
SUV because they've got boys and sports and lots of stuff. So they want one SUV and one sedan.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's easy. Simon, just get a Model X. So the only thing that's slightly more awesome than the new Model S is the Model X.
Okay.
And that's just amazing.
You have one.
Yeah, I've got a Model X. So it's got all the features. Simon, I don't know if you've seen. You got the what they call Falcon wing doors, the back doors that go up.
Which you can't drive.
It's got a Model X.
And you can get 7 seats. You can get a 7-seat version. So. With kids, they've usually got friends and whatever, so you can get a 7-seat version, 5-seat. I wouldn't get the 6-seat because just the way the seats are configured, it's not great.
It's $10,000 for the 6-seat version.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's.
I mean, Simon, your probably best thing to do is just get the divorce package and get the model plaid, the S plaid. That's the one you want. You don't worry about sports on the weekend anymore. You'd be cruising around with chicks in the car with the best car you ever want to get.
Don't listen to that man, Simon. He's an evil man.
No. What Jared?
That's all.
Jared's got his divorce package.
But the thing is that the Model X doesn't fit in the garage. You can't open the doors, can you?
Yes. Oh no. Actually, I've done demos in my car where the Model X, you can actually get in and out of the back doors easier in a tighter space than you can out of the front doors. Yes. And I can show that all day, every day. You can be 1 foot, 30 centimeters away from a brick wall, right, with a consistent gap. And you can't open, well, you can open the front doors, but you can't get out because of the thickness of the door. But the Falcon wing door will actually tuck its elbow and then go up. And you can actually, it's not totally elegant, but you can get in and out of your car with a 30 centimetre gap against the wall that you can't even get in through the front doors.
There you go.
And it doesn't matter about garage ceiling height or any of that sort of stuff. Most garages are, roughly 2 meters tall or whatever. It's got ultrasonic sensors, and it does all its thing. It's actually, that is not an issue whatsoever. It's the opposite of an issue. It's actually a feature of the Model X, and you can get in and out of it much better. The thing is, it costs about.
You can't get them at the moment.
Do you know we don't? Well, you can't get it. Yeah, it's the same as the Model S, but it costs of the order.
On the road, they're about 170. Well,
No, they were. No, it was more. I think it's gone now to about 200. Unfortunately,
okay.
before they took the price off, it was in the order of. Actually, I think it was about 210.
Okay.
Total, I think.
Well,
that's on roads. No, that's not the Plaid. No, that's that's the long range. That's the standard Model X.
You added like 30K on top of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
The new X
that's right.
Awesome though. They've improved the new X, and it's just an awesome car. I think mine's good, but the new ones are just so much better. But I've got to watch my garage door because it's got an arm that when the door is up, the arm sticks down and the sensors can't pick the arm. If the door is down, there's no issues, and you can get out of a very narrow space, as Harold says.
Yeah, interesting.
They're
that's all very helpful. I might sort of contact the dealer and register interest and
keep researching.
But that's good advice on
and Simon, and don't discount this month-to-month rental if you really want one soon. Because it's if you run the numbers, it's not really well. Pete, what are the numbers compared to just buying one for a 3 or 4 year period? What's this sort of penalty to rent it, roughly?
So what are you
$100 a week more?
The weekly amount?
Yeah, or like if you rent it, are you getting ripped off, or is it not a bad sort of deal for the flexibility it gives you in between buying a car?
You're paying roughly what your repayments would be if you were to finance the car.
No, it's more than the finance because I've got a performance, and I just did the whole lot because I wanted to actually invest in shares, and it's actually less. It's like 290.
How long a period though, Paul?
I did it over 7 years. You don't care,
right?
You can just pay it off when you pay it off.
Repayments a month, Paul?
A week it's 295.
Oh, $300 a week.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's 7 years. If you do a standard 5 year or 4 year, then the payments are significantly greater.
So what you do is you do that, and then you just because debt's cheap at the moment. So for me, investing in shares, years ago, I'm not going to say how much more ahead I am. Quite a lot.
All right, guys. Well, Simon's leaving us, so we'll.
Cool. No worries. Thanks for joining us, Simon, and good luck with your choice. But you've got lots of options, and feel free to give us a buzz. Carmen's got my number.
Oh, Carmen. Carmen, one thing. Simon doesn't look like any of those baby photos that you showed us the other week. He looks a lot older now, Carmen.
I don't want to show that too much because he might tell my age. He's no baby. His oldest son is 14.
Oh, okay.
That's all right, Carmen. You started very young. You were barely a teenager. It's okay.
Myself.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Simon. Welcome back anytime, and give us a buzz or whatever. But it's all good, mate.
Thank you. Appreciate your advice. Thanks very much.
No worries. Cheers. Take care.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll leave you to it.
Cool. So, yeah, I did. I just muted it. I just muted it for her. That's cool.
That would have been funny.
But yes, the Model X is definitely. Well, the Model S or X is just awesome. and we're still waiting. But anyway, and then the Cybertruck is just even more awesome.
That's
So
what I
that's
want.
another story on the Little House on the Prairie. Another sad story.
Have you guys?
Yeah, but you know what? You know what's even better than a Little House on the Prairie?
The Money Pit.
A tiny house on the back of a semi.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Yeah. I did think of you actually the other day, Harold, when I saw there
That'd
was a
be
model,
cool.
but you couldn't get the model. You know, they're on the Tesla website, but they're out of stock or something. Did you get one?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The miniature. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's my first,
dream,
second, third, fourth Tesla. That'll be the fourth car. Will be the semi.
You can store all the rest at the back.
Yeah, that's right.
Get
But
a
then I'd
trailer
probably
for
have to.
it.
I'd have to go and get a trailer and then get a MC license. Upgrade my HR to an MC and get a trailer.
Yep.
You'll get it cheaper if you get the full premium. What's it called? It's like 80K cheaper if you get the divorce package, right?
Divorce package. You guys can use that term, although I haven't copyrighted that. So that's
It's already public
the
domain.
divorce
now.
package. That's what
the whole
I'm getting
time I was
the
like,
plan.
bro, let's face it.
Yeah, it's the also divorce/lose your license really quickly. In one
Well, actually,
go.
the semi's not too bad because it only does 0 to 105 seconds. So it's
that's really good when you got a 40-ton load on the back to go from 0 to 5 seconds.
No, that's 20 seconds with the load.
Oh, 20
Yes.
seconds with the
Yeah,
load.
yeah,
Oh,
How fast can the X-Bike run though?
What's the range?
Sorry, say again.
How fast can the ex-wife run? That's the main thing.
That's terrible.
Hey,
That's
Jared,
terrible, Chris.
The true divorce package is the Founders Series Roadster.
Yeah, that's probably
your divorce package.
That's definitely the divorce package.
That's the midlife crisis car.
That's the midlife crisis divorce package.
It's definitely the Roadster. 100%. You're right. Although Model S Plaid would sort of help you. You definitely.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what he's worried about parking for. He'd just get a different unit every weekend, a different girl's house, and he'd partying big time, wouldn't he? If he had a Plaid. Yeah. Anyway, that was the story.
Was that the share price?
Is that the share?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'll just bring that up again.
Yeah, right.
It's a pre-market, so it doesn't really mean an awful lot. They're pretty much level. It's not much.
Do you guys monitor the Tesla shares a lot? I guess.
Sorry, say again, Chris.
You got it's a bit windy up here. Do you guys monitor the Tesla share stock price a lot?
Every 10 minutes?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We're happy to discuss Tesla share price in absolute minuscule detail.
Yeah.
I'm not really into it. I just buy the cars, but I was just more curious. I can't I decided against trading or anything years ago. I was just
Good decision.
buy and hold, and then that's it.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's just eats me up.
It's too hard.
I suck at it.
Yeah, and we'll just preface. We'll just preface what we're about to say with this.
The following segment is general in nature and shouldn't be taken as personal professional advice.
Unbelievable.
Listeners should seek their own independent assessment from a qualified advisor and not rely on the general nature of information in this program.
Gold.
Brilliant.
Gold, Shaners.
So, having said all of that, some great video YouTube channels to watch is Tesla Daily. So Tesla Daily podcast with Rob Mauer and Chris Lee. And one great thing that Chris has sort of said, and it might have been in conversation with Rob Mauer, or was it someone else Rob Mauer was interviewing? I forget the gentleman's name. But one thing he did say about trading shares is the problem is you might think that you can, well, not day trade Tesla, but do some short-term trades. The thing that's almost indisputable is Tesla's long-term trajectory is upwards.
Agree.
On the presumption that their execution will go ahead, which it has been doing so far. And I mean, bearing in mind that when Elon Musk got his second executive plan, the shareholding plan or the performance plan, Tesla's market capitalization was about $60 billion. And what the plan, which at the time was sort of laughably outlandish, was that it declared that if Tesla could go up by 10 times in value, Elon Musk would get an additional 10% of the company, which is an awesome deal. On percentage wise, there's nothing wrong with getting 10% more of something if you've increased its value by 10 times. It was outlandish. People laughed and they said, they said, well, that would make Elon Musk the world's richest man, and that would be outrageous, and it would be the biggest stockholder compensation or executive compensation ever in human history, and that would be outlandish, and it would be crazy. And anyway, Tesla's going to go broke, and it's never going to do it. But even if it does, by some miracle, do this, it's still outrageous. Well, only a few years later, Tesla didn't just get to 10 times $60 billion. It basically touched $1 trillion, rather than the 640 billion that it was supposed to. And that trajectory, as we've seen in a few other programs, or probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 programs ago, as a bit of a laugh, we had a bit of a whip around the panel and asked what our predictions were for Tesla's share price in the next 5 to 10 years. And I forget Russell's share price. It was something like $6,432 or something like that. But Pete had an interesting prediction, and I think his prediction was in 5 years it would be about, correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, was it $5 trillion in 2025? And in 2030, it would be $20 trillion, or in other words, $20,000. And there is an argument. Go, Pete.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets there, if it surpasses that.
Yep. And as we sit here today, that just sounds outlandish, because no company in human history has ever gotten to $20 trillion. It just hasn't happened ever.
The largest company now is it Amazon? At one point.
It's either Alibaba or Amazon, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Apple was 2 point something trillion. Apple.
Sorry, you're right.
Yeah, the fruit company. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the little fruit company, is the biggest. But to say that Tesla could be 20 trillion is sort of to say that that's going to be the world's biggest company by far. And Tesla now is worth more than the sum of all the other major car companies combined. And that's outlandish.
Wait, really?
And yet
they are, yes, absolutely.
And yet it only produces less than about 1.5% of all the cars produced each year. And it's worth more than all the companies that produce the other 98.5%.
Yeah, Tesla's 6th on the list at the moment.
And
Apple's about
2.26 trill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could read
So
it. You got. Oh, sorry.
So one thing that Dave Lee, or anyway, someone on one of these channels said is, one of the problems is if you trade Tesla, you might make a few profits here and there, but if you mess up your timing, you might lose an opportunity, and you might say, oh, look, I'm going to set a share price, like say you sell out at, I don't know, $900, and you say, well, I'm going to militantly wait until Tesla goes down to $650. And a couple of days ago, you might have gotten excited thinking, oh, well, it's pretty close. It's $700. And in fact, Nigel did really well and got it for $700.39. But if your buy order is at $650 and you've liquidated your position or a substantial part of it, it may never get to $650, and then you've sort of messed it up, and then you've got to buy back at $1,100, and then you say, well, now all I've done is I now own less shares than I did before, and then I also have a tax bill, and I've kind of messed it up, and you feel bad about it. So sometimes the strategy of buying and holding on a company that's on a clear growth trajectory is the safest thing to do, and it stops you from being a human and mourning unmet gains or gains that didn't come to fruition, because humans are bad at that sort of stuff. But of course, none of that's personal financial advice. But buying and holding is sort of good, and especially if you're not levered, because look, none of us sitting in this that are long-term shareholders really care if the share price is high or low per se, because we're in it for the long game. And there's no doubt in 5 years' time Tesla will easily be double or triple its current value. I mean, like we said earlier, ignoring the German the Brandenburg Gigafactory, which is about to get a permit any day now, or even if you say pessimistically any week now, and regardless of the fact that the Texas factory is going to get its permit any day or week now, if nothing else happens to those two plants, and in fact if you just wrote them off, Tesla would still increase its production year on year in this year by 50%. And I mean, name any other company that can do that. When they've already got plants that can actually double the production, or probably come close to trebling last year's production, that are they've already proven they're pushing cars out the line. They've already built, it's been built, and they've proved that it works.
Well, they've effectively, they're getting close to a 1.5 million annualized run rate already.
Yeah.
Between just Shanghai and Fremont.
Yeah. Exactly. So in 12 months' time, when Germany and Texas, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they can be jointly pushing out 1.5 million cars, and that in, say, 18 months' time, Tesla could be at a run rate of 3 million cars a year.
Oh, okay, I was just going to ask what run rate meant. I'm guessing that's production.
Oh, so that's not summing up for the whole year. It's if you just kept on doing what you're doing in the last few weeks for 52 weeks, the run rate, if you just keep your current rate. So let's just say you're digging a hole and it takes you a week to dig one hole, and then 6 months later you can dig 10 holes in a week, and then a year later you can dig 100 holes in a week, where your average run rate is 100 per week, or per year it's 5,200 holes run rate, even though the total of holes you've dug over the whole year might only be whatever, a couple of hundred. The run rate is what your factory can do today, and if you say in a year's time, how many cars will you have produced in a year's time? Because we don't really care what Tesla produced in January last year. We want to know, what did they produce in February this year, and what does that mean if they just keep producing that same number for another year? And at the moment, Tesla's run rate is as was said, is approaching 1.5 million cars with just the two factories that are running today, and that's ignoring the other two that aren't running today but have been fully built. Well, pretty much, as far as
And those factories are projected for 2 million cars each.
Yeah.
At full capacity, once they're fully, yes.
Well, Texas is, that one's built out quite, where, because they're doing their battery factory. That's the next thing coming up for them. And
no, it's built, Paul. The battery factories. Yeah, the Texas battery factory is, I wouldn't call it substantially finished, but if you look at some of the, I think it's Joe Tetmeyer, he gets early morning drone footage, and he looks right in through the windows, and you can see all the battery equipment is being commissioned.
Yeah,
well, they already produced 1 million of the 4680.
So say again, Pete.
I'm pretty sure they've already produced over 1 million of the 4680.
Yes, that's
on Cato Road.
1 million cells. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, but that only represents enough to produce a couple of thousand Model Ys.
It's 1,000. It's 1,000.
Yeah, still early
otherwise.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it might have been a couple of thousand because I think there might only be
It's
five.
like 900 and something for a pack.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I got excited too until we did the numbers. A good YouTube channel is Solving the Money Problem. Stephen Mark Ryan. He's an Australian, unorthodox, but he's got really good numbers for like production rate and that sort of stuff. And he normally points out some really good stuff. So that's a good information source as well.
The important thing about run rate is it's not a static figure.
No.
And yes, maybe from on a month-to-month basis, it will fluctuate up and down. But if you look at it on a quarterly basis, especially on a year-on-year basis, so if you compare, this year's February to last year's February and this year's March, it's always going up. So, with these two factories coming online, it's just going to start going crazy.
I was going to say good night.
Good night.
I've got a really thing I've got to do early tomorrow morning.
Oh,
I'd just like to also say, I'd like to say a little, I'm thinking of the people in Ukraine at the moment.
Oh, yes.
And I'd also like to say, fuck you, Russia, big time. And fuck you, Putin. Okay, I'd like to just advertise that because I just saw a thing on the news a minute ago that they've just killed some more innocent people in an apartment block. So I've got no time for that country or those people. So just wanted to air that out. So that's my political statement for the night. But thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you all next week.
All right, take care,
See you on
Jared.
Sunday.
Thanks so much. Yeah, look forward to it. Cheers. Take care.
Hey, speaking of Russia, Tesla has in Ukraine, they've provided free supercharging, not just to Teslas, but to any EV. They've opened up their superchargers to any EVs, and they're delivering Starlink dishes to
Yes.
They're there now. It's really good.
Yeah.
It was a truckload.
Free
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Paul. Go, Paul. Sorry, go, Carmen.
Apparently, Audi are offering free charging for 6 years with ChargeFox.
That's correct. I thought it was 5, but it might be 6. It's funny. I met a lady at the RAC headquarters where the fast DC charger is in an EQC, Mercedes EQC, and right next to that car was an e-tron. And I sort of did wonder why that charger is really popular because you don't see many Teslas there. Although actually there was one Tesla there an hour earlier. And this lady had actually won this EQC in a lottery.
Wow.
So she was a classic example of a completely
oblivious
or innocent person that knew nothing about EVs, wasn't even particularly interested in EVs, but because she literally won one in a lottery, she was a great case study of someone that came to the whole genre, or whatever you want to call it, the whole thing, completely uncontaminated and with no knowledge, no prior knowledge or prior interest. And that was sort of interesting.
What did you speak to her about? Because that's like
sorry?
a good opportunity. What did you speak to her about? That's like the perfect opportunity to.
Well, what I said was I actually gave her one of my Tokwa cards, and I said, what you really should do is jump onto Ask Us Anything, and we'll tell you how to get better range for your car because you're just a bit concerned about the range because I think it gets about 380 Ks. And I went, well, yeah, you should have won a Tesla because, that's got better range, but you can't choose which lotteries you win. But I did actually suggest to her to come on to Ask Us Anything to get just general advice. And I said, look, we don't care if you've got a Mercedes, we're all EV enthusiasts, so it's all cool. But it was really interesting. But yeah, Carmen, you're saying about the e-tron, they're providing, this is through I think it's a leasing company or a management company that actually has done this deal with ChargeFox. So it is free charging. Sadly, the problem is if you compare an e-tron or an EQC to any of the Teslas, they just don't compare favorably. There's no comparison.
What's the difference between an Audi?
So hang on a sec. Just hang on. So go, Carmen.
What's the difference between an Audi and a Tesla? The major differences.
Well, firstly, the price, and also the efficiency. So the amount of energy consumption. So your mileage per kilowatt hour is vastly worse on the Audi. Ken's one of the committee members, sorry, and he said he had a six-word summary of his experience when he went and took an Audi for a test drive, and he said, "I really wanted to like it." That was his summation of the e-tron. He really wanted to like it.
Yes.
But he couldn't bring himself to like it because... So go on.
Oh, Simon had an Audi before, where he sold it before he went overseas. And he's used to it. And he thought it was okay, but he didn't do anything about it.
Hey, Carmen, there isn't, whatever you look at, whatever's important to you, whether it's safety, convenience, supercharging, the price, the economics, the tech, the self-driving, call it what you will, whatever's important to you, the Tesla wins against the e-tron. There is not one thing that the e-tron has that's a major factor that would go into the decision of whether you buy one car or the other, where the e-tron wins over the Tesla. There's not one.
And Ken, for example, he had several generations of Audi, and he tells horror stories of, while it was in warranty, they would fix stuff and it was all good. The day it went out of warranty, they said, "Oh, this thing's going to cost you $2,000." And when he got it back from the Audi centre, it had some other fault, like there was an engine fault light as he got it back. And then they said, "Oh, well, that's a something manifold crack or something." And he goes, "Well, surely you did that when you fixed the other thing." "Oh, no, that wasn't us." And that cost him several more $1,000s. And he felt so bent over and absolutely abused by the dealer that, he swore that he would never do this to himself again. And even though we can always be easily accused of being sort of blind fanboys, we are fans of Tesla, but I'll be brutally honest. I'll throw this challenge out to any car maker. If you can produce a better product than Tesla, I will buy it. I'm not a blind sheeple that insists on being in Tesla's ecosystem. If someone else can build a better car for the same value, I will buy it.
And so you should.
Yeah.
I mean, why buy an inferior product? Why support an inferior company?
Yes, especially if you can. It's a good point.
Yep, and it's not. Yeah, go on.
Well, he just doesn't drive much. He's not into cars, and he drives from Netherlands to South 32 and back. And on the weekends, they take all the kids and they drive the Volvo. So he doesn't do much in it. And,
so he should just get a Model 3. Just get a Model 3 for himself to be the runaround car, and then skip the S and go straight to the X, because the X will be the ultimate family car.
Yes.
The ultimate family wagon, literally the ultimate.
Yes.
And by the time that comes around, there will be, there's already a supercharger in Margaret River, so that's awesome for the southwest. And there'll be other superchargers. There'll be one in Kojonup, and there'll probably be one in Albany. I don't know if there'd be one in Ravensthorpe and Esperance, but nonetheless, in between 18 months and 2 years' time, there'll be Synergy fast DC chargers all over the state. So a Model X would be an amazing family wagon. And then if he had just the Model 3 as just the runaround work taxi.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Well,
You know,
his wife would drive the X, but she's from Finland. She only drives Volvos.
Well, they're
well,
made
that's
in China now, so you wouldn't buy a Volvo. They're all Chinese. They've sold out to China.
They're owned by
Yeah, but she's from Finland. She's only ever driven Volvos.
But
but
Finland now is Teslas, Carmen.
Yeah.
If she was in Finland now, she'd be driving a Tesla. You can tell
Yes.
her that.
No, she's just come from Finland. They've been there 7 months. They've just arrived a couple of weeks back.
And
they drive a Volvo
right?
hybrid.
What's that?
They drove a Volvo hybrid.
But in Finland, there's Teslas everywhere now, right?
Yeah. Yes, they said they saw lots, but she's Finnish through and through. She's a very nice girl, actually. But traditional. They're very loyal to their brand. Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Actually, Carmen, I can. So Pete, just hang on 2 seconds. I hope I'm right. This could go down in a big ball of flames. But am I mistaken that there was a rather large telecommunications handset company that was based in Finland?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that called Nokia?
Nokia.
And your daughter-in-law would rightly have had a Nokia, just like I've had, and I've had generations of Nokias, and I forget. There was a 2110, there was a 2110E, there was so many models, and they were so expensive, and I used to keep them as mementos, and I've still got them somewhere in a drawer. And that Finnish telecommunications company ruled the world.
Yes.
And then some 2-bit fruit company invented some silly flat screen thing that had a battery life of a day instead of a week.
They have all the Apple products in IT, all of them.
Right. So that's proven that a dyed-in-the-wool Finn, a loyal and patriotic Finn, has done the right thing, which is buy the superior product, even though it means not buying what then became an inferior product from her own country. So the same will apply for the next car purchase. It's not Tesla's fault that they produce the best product. It's just not. It's just what happens.
And the Volvo not Finnish anyway. It's a Swedish car company, so
it's a Swedish car, but it's the local.
Yeah, it's a Scandinavian.
It used to be.
It used to be.
She has all Itala and all Marimekko and all everything's Finnish.
Well, if you're from the United Kingdom, MG was a great little sports car. Well, MG is not built in England anymore, nor is Aston Martin.
No.
So times change, and like I said, the Nokia is the classic example. She would not think twice of ever buying a Nokia ever again, because they just don't provide the product that you want. So
Volvo used to be the safest car on the road.
Yep.
And now it's Tesla. So
that's true too. Yep.
If one of the things that appealed to her about the Volvo was the safety, well, time to move with the times again.
Yes. Quite possibly. Yeah.
Hey, Harold, I have a question.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Go, Lance.
Yeah. Sorry. Look, I've been in and out all night, so I was meant to ask it earlier, but I'm due to get my car probably end of the month, but now with the Brisbane floods, maybe early April, I'm sitting in Melbourne Port at the moment, waiting for the transfer ship. I was just a question about the powered frunk. Do many people get that installation done? Is it worth it? I know it's quite pricey, but just keen to get some feedback.
I got it done. I think Paul had it. Paul's not online anymore. I had it done. Harold, you had yours. You did yours as well, didn't you?
I did mine myself on my Model X. Yes, I did mine myself. And Pete, you had yours done. Yeah, keep going, Pete.
Oh no, I just said I had I had the earlier Model 3, so I didn't have the factory power boot. So I did the boot as well as the front. They both work great. It was the Hancho one. I had it installed by, who did it? Oh, I can't even remember now. It was over a year ago, but haven't had any issues with one or the other. Yeah,
Okay.
work great. One thing that you will not, there's two downsides to it. So, so as far as, well, that doesn't really apply because it doesn't look like Tesla's going to bring a factory option for the front boot at any point. So, for instance, when you play the light show, so my wife's car, which has got the factory boot, her boot opens and closes with the light show, whereas my one that's got the third party one doesn't.
Okay.
So, and when when it renders on the screen the boot opening or the front opening, it will open and close. Whereas the factory one, if you open it, it will stay open, and then if you close it, it will close. Okay. So those are the only two, and it's a little bit louder. It's a little bit faster, if anything. It opens faster, but that's about it. Yeah.
Sounds like a worthwhile upgrade.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd, it was something, it's not a need, it was a want, for me. And I felt a little bit guilty about spending the money on it, but I actually use it quite a lot. I'm really surprised because I put my charging cable in the front, and so every time I charge and I need to take the cable out, I use it quite a lot. And it's a good party trick as well.
Look, I'm going to be I put a cover on at work every day because of the crap. I work in the industrial strip, and I'm probably going to store the cover in the front. So I'm thinking, it might be worth it.
And it's so cool. So when I charge, you'll be doing the same thing with your cover. So you'll open it either with your phone or on the screen, and then you walk around. So by the time you walk around, it's open, and then you take whether it's a charger or your cover, and then it's got the inside light switch, and you just press that as you're literally taking your things out of the bonnet, and you start walking away, and behind you it starts closing. So
it integrates seamlessly with the Tesla system.
Like I said, it integrates 95%. So the rendering, the light show, but that's about it.
So you basically splice it into the wiring loom. They're just plugs. So you just unmate one plug and you plug it in. It sort of taps into it, and you do like a parallel actuator for the actual bonnet release. There's two releases actually, and you then in my X you change the strut mount. You take the gas struts out and you replace them with the Hancho ones.
The Hancho ones are stronger ones. They're more powerful.
Yep.
Got more gas in them, I suppose. Yeah.
So is Hancho?
Yes.
Hancho is the one that both Harold and I used. Yeah.
Okay.
But there are others. Yeah. I think Hancho is HANSSHOW. Hancho. Yes, it's HAU. It's on the screen now. Oh, sorry, it's on the screen now. hautopart.com.
Okay.
But if you just Google Hancho, as you can see here, you can just look it up, and you just look up Model 3. Sorry, it was probably already there. Model bumper.
Oh yeah, trunk, yeah.
Frunk and trunk. So depends on what version power frunk, and it would be version 5. Nothing for the trunk. No kick sensor, light strip. So then that's whatever that price is there. Add to kick sensor, light strip, Frank White. No, it still doesn't want to. Oh, sorry, this was for both. Sorry, so it's both. But anyway, you just look on that website and whatever the price is, I think it's about $600 off the top of my head, or $500 or $600.
Perfect. Hey, thanks very much.
And you
guys.
can,
That's great.
Yeah, no worries. And you can actually do it yourself. It's not actually hard. If you did do it yourself, look, just give us a buzz. I don't know if you're here before, but you can just ring 3232. Sorry, 6262 3131.
Perfect.
Because what I had to do was actually watch 2 YouTube videos because their instructions are just incomprehensible. And I watched 2 different YouTube videos and I got enough knowledge from both of them to make it work properly.
Okay.
Because as it turns out, I think you've got to tell it to go up and down twice in a row or something. And I actually feared it wasn't working properly, but then I got it to work. But the installation is actually, look, even if you're just even partially handy, there's nothing hard to do. It's not hard.
That's good. I was looking at I think the Tesseries one, and they had the option to pay for an install, but the prices started to ramp up pretty quickly once you put in that option. I think it was it $300 or for the install. So I mean, if it's complicated, no problems. If it's reasonable, straightforward, then
The front one should be a little bit easier than the re one too, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I didn't really take great notice, and I was kind of messing around because I had to find the right tools and all that sort of stuff. I think it took. Look, if it took 2 hours, that's an overestimate. That was really dawdling, and that's sort of from opening the packet and working out what the bits were, and finding tools and stuff. It was less than 2 hours, and that's doing it for the first time ever. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, look, you do it on the weekend. I actually made the mistake. I think I started late on a weekday, so I was pressed. I had to finish, so I just kept bashing through it. But yeah, on a weekend, save the $300 and just do it yourself.
Perfect. Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And that Tesseries one, that's the one that I used.
The Tesseries?
Yeah, the Tesseries one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I used their install. So.
You use their installer?
Yes. So
okay.
I can't remember who it was again that I had in Perth, but I can find out if you really need to know. But yeah, like Harold said, if you're half handy, which I'm not, then yeah, do it yourself.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
No worries. Cool. Has anyone else got any other questions or comments?
I've got a quick one, Harold. Your inside rear vision mirror, what's it like? I've already had mine replaced once, and it's still horrible. It never stays where I want it to.
Oh yeah, no, mine's the same, Pete. It's frustrating. You got to sort of like go up and then past, and then it also has like a memory thing where it sort of almost then droops to where it was before. So you got to go a little bit too far up, and then sometimes it's too far is too far, because that's what too far means.
But it won't hold it anyway. It just always goes back, and I can't see out of. I've got to go up and hold it down, and then it never stays there.
And what frustrates me is I had a Fairmont gear. It was about a turn of the century or something like that, and it actually had memory rear view mirror. So it would do memory for the side mirrors and the rear view mirror. It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I bought a G6E, which is that's after they stopped the word Fairmont, and it only had memory side mirrors and no memory rear view mirror. Yeah. And obviously Tesla doesn't have memory rear view mirror. But yeah, you're right. It's a bit crap, to be honest. And I've taken. Go on.
Well, I was going to say the original was no good, but the replacement I think it was Adam fitted it. It's no better. It's just the same as the original. It's horrible. And he said everyone has a problem. These are better, but it's no different.
Yeah, it's just a bit crap, to be honest. And I've taken quite a few people for test drives the last few days, and I I've given up on the rear view mirror. It's just I can't get it back to where it was because it sort of looks like it was for a little bit, and then you look at it again and it's sagged down or, yeah. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it's just a bit crap. Let's hope that the new Model X, they might have changed it. You never know.
The new Model X is looking sensational, I reckon. They've just improved everything. They've really refined things, and that I've watched Sandy Munro's stuff, and even he's in awe of some of what they've done. It's just brilliant.
Yes. It's great to see they've messed up the doors because they've made the doors all complex and they haven't got that Model Y sort of door module that everything's all interconnected. But he was marveling about the motors because the inverter fits on the Model S Plaid, also fits on the Model Y, front and rear motors. It's all interchangeable.
It's on the same on all of them. I was quite astounded by some of what they've done.
Yes, and the dual purpose for I think on the Model S, the X is probably similar. The front reinforcing beam is dual purpose because it's also being used as the
carrier
the carrier. Well, the storage tank for the compressed air for the air suspension. So they got dual purpose, and then the way he was describing how some of the mounts are off the motor mounts and dual purpose for fixings and the way the two motors are actually clamped together meant that because they were explaining that I didn't even know this actually was that when you torque up a bolt you've got to torque it to just when it yields, and that's so you're actually relying on the bolt itself yielding. And then that's why you have different types of gaskets, and they were explaining the gaskets where you have the aluminium bit, which doesn't actually do any sealing. It actually stops the nitrile or the rubber bit from being over squeezed.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
No,
they are amazing cars.
Oh, they're getting so much better. So
yes.
Makes me want a new one already.
Well, I've got one on order, Pete, and I've had it on order for a year now, over a year, and I've still got to wait another year. So my car's done 204,000 Ks to date, and I'll probably bash out at least another 50 before I see another car.
I'm amazed up in the hills. It's just nothing comes near it in the hills where it's windy, uphill, downhill. You never touch a pedal. You just drive the accelerator. You don't touch anything else. And in the hills, it just amazes me how it goes through up there. Nothing would get near you. Phenomenal.
When I was towing John Edwards's trailer, it's Rob Dean's trailer with John Edwards's biofuel charger weighing 2.2 tons going up Great Eastern Highway. It's like there was nothing behind me. It just didn't care. I just put on autopilot and it just did between 70 and 80 Ks, whatever the speed limit was in each of the different sections. I was just doing the speed limit the whole way, and it's like the trailer wasn't there.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. They are incredible, and they're just getting better and better.
Yeah, well, I think the torque it's got gives it that ability. Whether you're pulling a trailer or coming out of a corner, you just don't even notice it. Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just they're just awesome cars. And they're unparalleled. So Audi's e-tron, the e-tron, Mercs, I-Pace, they just don't touch Tesla.
No. And that description of the
I've got to go early today as well. I'm just going
to. Oh, no worries, Pete. All right, take care, mate. And we're probably going to close up anyway. But yeah, thanks for coming again, and we'll see you we'll see you maybe next week. Definitely next week. Cheers. See you, Pete. Take care.
See you guys.
And what's your sign off? Sorry, how do you sign off?
As always, stay safe, stay sustainable, and stay ahead of the curve. Ciao.
Hey, Pete, I haven't had a chance to tell you yet. The performance went 11.4 on Wednesday night.
Oh yeah, Yeah. Someone told me that you posted on Facebook. So 11:4 on the dot, was it?
No, 11:49, just inside.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I'll get it down.
I think I might know someone that might have got very close to that, if maybe even a little bit less.
Yeah.
But all depends on the wind at the time. And which lane were you in?
That was it went 11:4 in the right lane.
Yeah, the right lane's supposed to be a little bit faster apparently, because it's a little bit more shielded from the oncoming headwind if there's a bit of wind.
And nice if we had launch mode on it. It costs you a little bit of time, that little bit to get going. Needs to launch a bit hard.
For what it's worth, I took mine to the drags the first time. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Pete, you got to go to bed, mate. Go to bed, mate. We'll see you next week. It's all good. You can watch on YouTube. YouTube.com/Tokwa, Pete. You can see the end of this. Have a good night's sleep, mate.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Good night.
See you, mate. Bye. Yeah, sorry, go, Chris.
I took mine to the drags the first time maybe a week and a bit ago. And I think it was on 79 to 82% battery, Ludicrous Plus mode enabled. And I got, I think, 11.559. So for mine's the 2016 facelifted model SP90D with Ludicrous Plus. And then
nice.
But you've still beaten me, mate.
Yeah, but Chris, did you have your battery preconditioned? Did you have it on preheated?
Yeah. It was preheated, but it was between 79 and 83%.
Yes, okay. So you need to really get it close to 100% to get that extra little bit of performance.
Ideally. It was just a bit of a trek down there, and first time then, but still, the fact that the other one still smashed this.
Yeah, but Damo's a seasoned drag strip guy, so he knows how to run a car.
We'll have to go down there, man, one night and just Tesla invasion.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now on how to get them launched.
Yeah, and pull all the weight out. You got to pull the back seat out. You got to pull everything out of it.
I think so, Harold. That's where I'm going, I think. Anyway, I've got to go back to my desk. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, no worries, Damo. Take care. And it might be a good time. I'll just go around the room to see if anyone's got any pressing comments or questions, and then we might call it a relatively early night. But yeah, speak up now, or we might say good night soon.
Yeah, no, thank you for your help and advice tonight. Always.
Yeah, pleasure. Yeah, hopefully. Look, I think the plan is let's just get Simon into a Model 3, and then an X, and I mean, oh man, that's just perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. Oh,
no,
the kids would love being taken to school. They'd love school pickups and deliveries. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Doors.
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And every kid and all the kids know Tesla. They all know all about them.
Yeah. Oh yes, they have a little one. They have a little tree.
Yes. Oh yes, of course. That's right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Any other comments, or we might just wrap this up?
Yes.
Quick comment. I'm heading to Melbourne for maybe about 3 to 4 weeks at least. Starting on Saturday, but my Tesla Model S will be here in Perth. So if any of you guys want to use it or borrow it, feel free to.
Yeah, sure. Just flick me. I'll flick you my email address, and you can just hook me up to the account, and I'll just take it for spins. I thought I might go around Australia. I did it in 19 days in my X. Maybe in your S, I could do it in maybe 15.
Honestly, I'd rather be utilised than not. So that's kind
it's all good. But all jokes aside, what you should do is set your charge to say 90%, like on your slider, and just plug it in. And all it'll do is, because you'll have a bit of vampire drain and all that sort of stuff, and then every now and then it'll just wake up and top back up to 90%, and it'll all be cool. Like you won't have to stress about it, and your car will probably go to sleep anyway. And when you get back, it'll be like it was like you'd never left. It's awesome.
Oh no, that's fine. It's just more so like because I put it on the EV platform, but like because I'm not here to manage it or whatever. I'd rather people from like just like go for it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no worries. Well, I'll give me a text.
I'll drop you a message in the next 3 days.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you can just email me if you haven't got my number. I'll just put it in chat. Or you can just. No, that's cool. It's in chat now. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
So say again.
I've got you on the Slack, but I'll.
Yeah, I haven't logged into Slack for a very long time. That's a technical issue.
For this exact reason.
But no, just give me a call. It's in chat, or sorry, a text, or just email me at secretary@tokwa.org.au.
Yeah, man, easy.
Yeah, cool, awesome.
Yeah, I'll catch you guys later.
No worries, Chris. Yeah, cool. Yeah, take care. All right, guys. Lance, you got any other questions or anything like that for your upcoming car?
No, hey, thanks. It's a great call. I really enjoy these, so thank you very much.
Yeah, cool. No worries. Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. So on that note, I think yes. Go on.
I've got two small questions. We've
Yes.
got our quote for insurance from SGIO and RAC. They're pretty much the same. Is there any better one to choose among those two?
Okay, so if on
they're the same company, so you're just getting this. NRMA should give you a better price, but I don't know. I've not tried them here. But RAC or Budget Director worth a try.
Yeah, and Norm, the only difference between say RAC and SGIO, if the price is identical and the features are identical, the only difference I can think of off the top of my head is that with RAC, you get RAC membership, of course, if you're an RAC, if you have a policy with them, is that for the ChargeFox fast DC chargers in at the RAC headquarters in Wellington Street or at Treendale, just north of the Eaton Superchargers, you get a 20% discount on charging at those two locations if you are an RAC member, or well, you have RAC insurance, or you're an RAC, and therefore an RAC member. So that might be a very slight difference if everything else is exactly the same.
Yeah, we've got RAC for other things, so it might be a good.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, so you mean to say, so RAC should have given you a multi-policy discount. So with RAC's multi-policy discount, I would have thought they might have slid slightly in front of SGIO, but
well, there's a $200 difference.
Right. So is RAC dearer or cheaper?
Cheaper.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Well, like I said, if that's the case, for $200 it's worth having the $200. Plus, you get the 20% discount at a couple of charging locations. So that's, I guess, on paper, that's a benefit to you to take that advantage.
Yeah. So we pick up our car next Wednesday.
Awesome. Fantastic. That's pretty exciting.
It is.
That's very exciting.
Absolutely. As they say, if you don't want to buy a Tesla, you don't sit in one.
That's
you
right.
Sit in one, you're going to buy it.
I bet, because as soon as you sat in it, you went back and I bet it was Harry or Joel or Alex went, Harry. So how was the ride? So Harry would have gone, so how is it? And you said to Harry, just take my money. I want one.
Exactly.
Take my money.
That's when we did our order. We did the test drive, we ordered, then we booked another test drive, and I played around with the cruise control a bit. The other one I was going to ask was, with the cruise control or whatever it's called, When
Yep,
you change
autopilot.
speed zones, does it change automatically or do you have to change it manually?
When you're in, frustratingly, when you're in Perth or any major city, it does not change automatically. When you go on a country drive, it changes perfectly. So the other day I went down to Margaret River on a Saturday. We got a report that the barriers for the supercharger were taken away. So at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my wife said, "Oh, maybe we should just go down to Margaret River for an overnight trip." And I thought, "Oh, okay, we'll go on to What If and check." And going down past Bunbury, every town we went to, like Coerumup and other towns, the speed limit would go down to 50 and the car would go from 110 to 80 to 50. And then as you went through the town and get out the other end, it would go back up to 80 and then back up to 110, fully automatically. But around Perth or Mandurah or Bunbury and some other large centres, for some reason only known to Tesla, it doesn't do it. And I just don't know why. It's like a classification of whether it's a major road or a major centre. At the moment, it doesn't do it automatically.
So is that with full FSD or was that just autopilot?
Sorry, Lance, just say that again.
Is that with full FSD or is that just with autopilot?
Doesn't matter. It's both. It's both. So, Pete, you're going to say something?
Well, I went to Narrogin today, and it only changed once for me. So the rest of the time I had to put it down or put it up for the correct speed. But when it does, it's brilliant. But
yeah, I know it's so frustrating because it is so awesome. The only criticism is it doesn't actually start slowing down until you've literally passed the sign, which when you're going slower is a problem because technically you're speeding because you're obliged to do the speed limit by the time you get to the sign. But that aside, it's so awesome when you just see it slowing down and you go through town and then as you go out the other end, it just starts automatically speeding up. And it's just, and it's so clever that if say you're in a 110 zone and you're doing 100 and you set it to 100 deliberately because you want to get, super long range or whatever, it'll go down to 80, then down to 50, and then back up to 80. And then when it sees the 110 sign, it'll go back up to the speed you were doing in that zone, which is 100 k's an hour. And it's just awesome. It's magic, absolute magic. But yeah, unfortunately, it just doesn't do that everywhere yet. Okay. But one day we'll wake up and there'll be a software update and it will do it. We just don't know when. But the other thing you should remember, Norm, is go through your menus. So I think I showed it before where you got the little car menu. Under autopilot, you need to go to switch it on. So very quickly, I'll just grab that.
I've got the checklist.
Yeah,
that'll
cool.
help you. That's good.
Because
I generally spend a lot of time with my iPhone just making sure the settings are right, and I'll do the same with the car.
Yes. Yeah, because like in iPhones, there's lots of menu items and features that no one knows about that are quite useful. But yeah, you definitely, you tap on the car icon on the lower right-hand corner, and then there's a tab, a menu item. I'm just going to try and bring it up in 2 seconds. Oh, here we go. Very quickly. Right. So you've got it'll look slightly different, but it's very similar to this. So you click on the car icon, and then there'll be a tab that has autopilot. And when you click on that, this will be turned off. It's auto steer beta.
Yeah.
So you've got to turn that on. Otherwise, you can't enable autopilot. And you won't have Navigate and Autopilot because you wouldn't have bought FSD. But Oh, there will be full self-driving visualization preview. So make sure that's on. Forget about the the traffic light stop, because that you don't get that unless you get full self-driving. But yeah, do make sure that auto steer is on, and you can only enable it when you're in park. And because your car's brand new, it'll take about 30 kilometers of driving before autopilot can be enabled, or even cruise control, because the cameras have to calibrate. So you'll see like the steering wheel will have like this blue this blue circle that'll start very small and slowly go around the circle, indicating that it's completely calibrated. So that's one little pro tip. Do make sure that the auto steer is enabled. And in fact, I met a gentleman that had his car for 14,000 kilometers and it wasn't enabled. He didn't realize, he presumed that because he hadn't bought full self-driving, he didn't realize that he actually had autopilot, because it wasn't visible on the screen, because you have to enable it for that symbol to go grey when you're in a section of road that's suitable for autopilot. So that's something to look at on Wednesday, Norm.
Yeah. So next Wednesday, when we come for the meeting, I'll have had my car for half a day.
Yes. So absolutely. So come back. You're more than welcome to come back next Wednesday and tell us about the delivery experience and ask any questions that come out from the whole thing. It's awesome. It's fantastic.
I'm completely jealous. Enjoy it.
What about enhanced autopilot?
You cannot buy enhanced autopilot in Australia. So in Australia, there is autopilot, which you get for free with all the Model 3s. And there's full self-driving, which currently costs $10,100, which obviously you shouldn't. Well, if you were going to buy it, you buy it after you buy the car, because whether you buy it before or after, it's still $10,100. But if you buy it before you get the car, you've got to pay stamp duty on top of that, and depending on the version, there could be luxury car tax if it's like a long range or a performance version. So, and you can actually buy it just from your app. So once they hand over the car and your app is set up with your account and your car appears on it, you can go into, I think it's upgrades or something like that, software upgrades or upgrades, and you can just buy it there and then. In fact, I saw a lady at the service center buy it in front of my eyes, $10,100. Just tap 2 buttons on your phone, makes the purchase on your credit card. Within about 10 seconds, her main screen went black, flashed back on, flashed back off, flashed back on, and it was done.
And credit to Tesla, I was going to buy it when I bought the car, and they put me off it and said, "Why would you do it now?" And I said, "Because I can't get it afterwards." And they said, "No, you just got to download it." It just blew my mind that this is how simple it is. Yeah.
In fact, it's literally, you don't even download it. It's a software switch. The computer's already capable. It's literally, their server will talk to the car on a very small packet and alter that switch and go full self-driving enabled.
It's incredible.
And then you'll get all the features. It's an awesome piece of kit.
So that wouldn't need wireless to upgrade. It'll happen wherever you are.
Oh yes. So when you purchase it, so when you go into I think it's called upgrades. I'll just have a quick look on mine.
No, I mean, like normally updates happen via wireless.
Oh,
but that one will probably happen.
No, via Wi-Fi. Oh yes, but that update, that's not a software update. It's just a feature switch. So it doesn't need a software update at all. It's actually upgrades. So there's a thing called upgrades, and that will then list any upgrades that and it'll show what you can get. In my case, there are no software upgrades I can get. It just takes me to accessories, In fact, yeah, it just says I've got all the software upgrades that I can get.
So we are now
but
at
in
the
your
stage where we've got our VIN in the app.
Oh, cool. Right. So they've matched the VIN to the car. That's awesome. Yeah. At this late stage, they would do that. In the old days, they used to, when you order the car, so my ex, when I ordered it so many years ago, and confirm the order, they would allocate you a VIN. They would then do nothing for a week because it was like a cooling off period if you wanted to change color, trim, type, number of seats, whatever. And then they would, 1 week later, that would then close off. So you could change anything you wanted, paint color, interior color. And then a week and a day later, they would start producing a car. Like they'd lock the features and then you would be committed to have that configuration. Then they would build that car for you then, however long that took, and ship it. Now they just match VINs with orders. So Shanghai, they'll do a bulk order of 40% white cars, pearl white cars, blue car, whatever percent with different interiors. And then they, on a rough average, and then they'll match those orders, cross-match them with existing orders, which is why it was explained if a finance falls through, that VIN will then get allocated to someone else and someone else will get that car. So, but no, it's exciting news, Norm.
It is, yeah.
And obviously, Lance, you've got a bit longer to go. But I know it's painful. Don't worry. I won't do it now, but next week I'll explain my story of how I went through the hell of, and this was actually flood related. It was closer to home, but it was still flood related and had a delay, and that was really annoying. But anyway,
look forward to it.
Norm, enjoy your delivery next Wednesday. It's going to be awesome, and I do look forward to seeing you Wednesday night for Ask Us Anything. For everyone in YouTube land, please do like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And actually, if you've got any questions that you want to ask, put them in the comment section, because that's part of the YouTube algorithm to try and boost our exposure. But yeah, for everyone here, thank you for being here. Look after yourselves, stay safe. For anyone going to Lancelin, look forward to seeing you there. And if not, welcome back to next week's Talk or Ask Us Anything. Stay safe, everyone, and look forward to seeing you next week. Good night, all. Take care.
Good night.
Thanks,
Good night,
Harold.
and thanks.
Thanks, guys. See ya.